But of course, lo and behold, there's another incident yesterday. This time it was in Portland. Portland, of course, has been under pressure from the Trump targeted vehicle stop in Southeast Portland's Hazelwood neighborhood yesterday. Thank you, guys. Let me fix that real quick. And here we go. Okay. Yesterday afternoon, the agents fired after officials say the driver allegedly attempted to use his vehicle as a weapon against them. So far, we don't know. I mean, I think somebody said this. I think it was Sam who said this yesterday. One of the things, or the day before, one of the things that I think is a powerful tool is the amount of video coverage we have of all these things that happen. So I would imagine someone somewhere has some video, because the administration has flat out been lying. I mean, their narrative is blowing up. And the reason I think it's obvious, or a better approach to this entire thing would have been if they had just done the right thing and said, you know, the tragic loss of life for Renee Good in Portland, investigations are underway. We'll get back to you. But instead, they tried to paint her as this domestic terrorist. And when you do that, and then you have evidence that comes out to contradict, all you have left is to lie. That's it. That's it. All you have left. You see what I mean? See what I mean? You have people like this. You have people like this who will just believe. Who'll just believe. Not that one. Sorry, I got the wrong comment posted. Didn't mean that. Somebody who just said that don't try to drive over cops, right? Don't try and drive over cops. See, Salazar, if you were actually an objective person, you would look at the video and you would not be blinded by the smell of Trump's taint. You would instead look at the evidence, because that's not what happened. My point is, if the administration had just come out and done just the basic minimum of saying, we are investigating the tragic events that happened in Minneapolis, and the investigation is underway, and we will get to the truth. Something to that effect. But when you don't do that, when all you have is attempting to blame Renee Good, you attempt to blame her. You don't want to unpack the reason that event would have never happened if ICE wasn't there. It just would not have happened. So when you double down on your hatred or your othering, you are stuck with what happened. Case in point, more violence across the country. And people wonder why ICE has, as they say, targets on their back. We went through the exercise yesterday. 18 women pregnant women reported abuse when in ICE custody. Was it 35 deaths in 2025 under ICE control? It's the highest number since ICE became ICE. So cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. So more from the story in Portland. Both victims, a man and a woman, were taken to a local hospital. Their conditions have not yet been confirmed by authorities. Portland police applied a tourniquet at the scene before EMS arrived. The FBI, oh great, the FBI is leading the investigation into the shooting. That gives us all kinds of confidence. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson has publicly called for federal immigration operations to halt in the city until a full investigation is completed, saying federal militarization undermines community trust. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek and other local leaders have echoed calls for transparency and accountability. Protests have erupted outside the ICE facility in South Portland in response to the shooting and broader federal enforcement actions. I lived in the Pacific Northwest for 3 years, lived in Seattle, or just outside of Seattle. Spent many times, many days, many weeks, lots of time in Portland. Incredibly beautiful city. Incredibly beautiful. That part, if I were to leave New England again, that's where I would go, because the Pacific Northwest is just stunningly beautiful. Kind people, hardworking communities, like most places in our country. And they get a target on their back because this goes back to 2020 when there's lots of violence, they claim. It's just nonsense. It's just more normalizing fascism in our country. In fact, Monday's show, I've been trying to put some data together for a while. And our show on Monday is going to be how we have normalized fascism. So you can come back for that on Monday. Just a little lighthearted topic. Anyway, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson publicly called for immigration. The Portland shooting occurred just, of course, one day after the incident in Minneapolis, where an ICE officer fatally shot a woman during an immigration enforcement effort, fueling national scrutiny of federal enforcement tactics. Well, there's more reporting, of course, from the situation in Minneapolis. But first, I want to play a little bit of sound from JD Vance because I think it's important from a context perspective, just to remind folks what the administration is doing. They are doubling down. They are doubling down on blaming Renee Nicole Good, blaming her. Again, just let's keep that in mind. They are blaming her. Your eyes do not deceive you, friends. All you need to do is watch the video. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time, and thank you for allowing me to express some anger because I had a lot yesterday. The video was very clear, and based on apparently the training that ICE has given, he put himself in harm's way by walking in front of a vehicle that was an obvious operation. And you can see from the footage that she was turning the wheel. You can see that at one point the vehicle was past him, and he fired 2 shots into the open window, taking her life. So again, there's no debate there. And it doesn't give ICE authority anyway to open fire. And they don't have law enforcement responsibilities at the state and local level. Their jobs are specific to immigration enforcement. We know that to be true. It's undeniable. There's no avoiding it. We know what the facts are in this case, right? We know what they are. Now, I fully support an investigation. I have no problem with that. There's questions about federal culpability and state culpability. And Tim Walz has already talked about bringing the National Guard in, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit because how funny, how hypocrisy comes back to bite you when you're in power. But I want to first just update you on what we've learned recently on the Renee Good situation, because there again has been reporting about why she was there and what was going on, or more specifically, why she was there and who she was. According to reports, she had just dropped her 6-year-old child off at school on the morning of the incident and was returning to her car with her partner when the encounter occurred. Federal authorities claim that she impeded agents and attempted to use her car against them, allegations that the family and eyewitnesses dispute. Not just eyewitnesses, but the video that we have all seen. Okay? All of us have seen that. Don't forget, her attention was to out her passenger side window or driver's side window because that's where she was approached. Again, by armed thugs in masks. That's where her focus was. You can see she turned the wheel. We don't need to revisit that. Her mother, identified in local reporting, called her one of the kindest people I've ever known and emphasized that Renee was compassionate, loving, and not involved in violent activity. She also denied that her daughter was part of any anti-ICE protests or organized actions. Instead, her presence in the area was ordinary and family-oriented. What her ex-husband has said. The ex-husband, speaking to news outlets and asking to remain anonymous for their child's safety, said, Renee was not an activist and had no history of organized protest activity. She had simply dropped their young son off at school that morning and was returning home with her current partner when they encountered the ICE agents. He's described her as a devoted Christian, stay-at-home mom with a gentle disposition, not someone seeking confrontation. A video says she was turning her vehicle to leave the scene when the shots were fired, which potentially contradicts claims that she intended to harm agents. That's reported by the Minnesota Star Tribune. So I guess the question then, it's really, really simple. What do you want to believe? MAGA, the question is for you specifically. Do you want to believe the video evidence? Do you want to believe what we saw with our own eyes? Do you want to believe, here's one example. See if I can find the right picture. Do you want to believe, hang on one second. Oh, sorry. Okay. You want to believe this picture here, where he is obviously out of the way of the vehicle, firing into the passenger seat, or in the driver's seat. Do you want to believe that? Here's another angle. Again, not in contact with the vehicle in any way. Do you want to believe that? Again, firing into the vehicle, right? Keep that in mind. Do you want to believe that? Or do you want to believe what the administration is telling you, because they're clearly two different things. So much so that we have J.D. Vance. By the way, J.D. Vance becoming a much more prominent voice recently on this particular issue. The president's not talking about it. No statement from the White House other than that bullshit statement he put out the other day. Okay? Complete bullshit. Hang on one second. I just got to deal with one little thing. All right. So this is J.D. Vance talking about two separate things. We're going to talk about his claim about immunity, but this is the sound that I really want you to hear.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car.
Hang on one second.
He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on...
What do your eyes see? What do your eyes see? See, look at, I just watched the comment. I just watched the comment go by. Salazar, you obviously are trolling. What do your eyes see? Again, listen to what JD said.
Was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a guy with her car, he shot back, he defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie.
Okay, so the question I have for you then, specifically for those people who still want to believe, they don't want to believe what their eyes tell them. They are refusing to believe what their eyes are telling them. I mean, I can't help you with that. I know the smell of the orange man's taint must be so good that you're not willing to take your nose out of there and look at the images that we have. So if you have the ability to open fire and murder Miss Good, don't you have the same ability to just shoot at her tires? Oh, and by the way, you're not even supposed to use, under the DOJ and under DHS rules of engagement for use of force, you're not supposed to be firing at a vehicle that's driving away. It's against the law. Okay? I don't know what else you need to see. Is this picture AI? Again, this is a statement from J.D. Vance. While you're looking at this picture, Salazar.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law...
Why is that, JD? Why do you think it's a disgrace that you're being called out because of your lies, you pathetic fuck? Why do you think that is? I mean, we are just looking at the pictures, my guy. Again, explain that to me, how she is a threat. The domestic terrorist in this case is this murderous thug right here. What else do you need to see? More
law
from him.
Enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody...
So maybe he shouldn't have been on the fucking job, bro. If he was that scarred by a traumatic event, then why the fuck is he even back out on the job again? Why is he on the job again? Why wasn't he evaluated? If he was struggling that much with his own safety and he was trauma from that first event, then why the fuck was he back out on the job again? Why did he violate his own training? Why was he in front of the vehicle? He came around from the front. Why? Why? Why is that? Why, JD, did you just literally say this?
What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
I'm sorry. He's sensitive? My guy, you are putting armed thugs on the streets of American cities. And you are admitting that he was under a lot of pressure because of something that may or may not have happened to him before. And he's a little sensitive? Maybe he shouldn't have been on the job. If he's that sensitive and you're so concerned now, attempting to justify fucking murder by saying, well, this happened to him before. What would be a good analogy? I don't know. I don't know. You're walking around. You got hit in the. I'm not even gonna try. What else do you need to see? What's the distance there? Arm's length? A couple feet.
What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox.
A broader left-wing network. So then the question is really, really simple. It's really simple. Do you want to believe what we see, what we saw, what is very clear? There are additional video angles. He was not under threat. And I believe the narrative now that I don't even think, I think it's safe for us to assume that she didn't even see him because she was engaged with other fucking thugs, these guys right here, who approached her car. Where is it? Right here. She was engaged with these guys who approached her car from the left. And that other thug, the murderous thug, came around from the front. So once again, what do you want to believe? Do you want to believe the words of J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel? Or do you want to believe the words of her mother, her ex-husband? Back to this. The case has sparked national debate and protests over ICE tactics and federal law enforcement use of force. Local officials and community members have criticized federal narratives that label her actions as hostile. These are the exact quotes from her mother and from her ex-husband. Quote, Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. This from her mom. Quote, she was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Quote, she was probably terrified, referring to what her daughter likely felt during the shooting. Donna Ganger also stressed that Renee was not part of anything like that at all, meaning she was not part of any organized anti-ICE protests. From her ex-husband, anonymous for safety. He clarified that she, quote, had just dropped off her 6-year-old son at school Wednesday and was driving home with her current partner when she encountered the ICE agents. He emphasized that she was not an activist or protester and had no history of participating in protests. He described her as a, quote, devoted Christian, MAGA, and as someone who was deeply loving and caring toward her children, and that her presence at the scene was simply because she had dropped her son off at school. According to descriptions in police-related coverage, a video from the scene reportedly showed that her vehicle was turning away when she was shot, which supports his assertion that she was not trying to impede officers. Her mother frames Renee as a gentle, compassionate, nonviolent person who was not participating in protests or acting aggressively. Her ex-husband situates her at the scene solely because she had dropped off her child at school and was heading home, not because she intended to confront anyone. Once again, what do you want to believe? Do you want to believe the words of J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem, the president, or do you want to believe the words of her mother and her ex-husband? It's pretty simple. It's really pretty simple. So if the administration had just come out initially and had said, the tragic loss of life in Minneapolis, we are investigating. That's it. That's it. That's all you had to say, but you didn't. The reason they didn't is because they knew what happened. They knew that piece of shit murderous thug gunned down in cold blood a U.S. citizen on the streets, on the suburbs of Minneapolis. They know what happened. They immediately try to spin it. They needed to find justification somehow, some way. I just saw that. Tom Homan actually had an interesting couple of responses to this. So he was interviewed recently. Homan, who is President Trump's border czar and former ICE director, was interviewed on CBS's Evening News about the fatal shooting during a federal immigration action in Minneapolis. He declined to make a definitive judgment about the video evidence of the incident, saying that, quote, I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. He stressed that he was not on the scene and that it would be, quote, unprofessional to comment on what I think happened in that situation before an investigation plays out. Homan repeatedly urged that ongoing investigation should determine facts and accountability rather than speculation based on circulating videos. In the same interview, he said he has not seen ICE agents act outside of policy. Well, Tom, I don't know. Let's see what I found this yesterday. Don't forget, hang on a second. We discussed this yesterday. 41 credible reports of physical sexual abuse of individuals in detention. These are ICE detentions in 2025. 14 reports of mistreatment of pregnant women and 18 reports of mistreatment of children in ICE, HHS, or Bureau of Prisons custody. So because you didn't see it, does that mean it didn't happen? That sounds like grape apologists that we speak to all the time. Because you didn't see the sexual assault against a woman, you didn't believe it? Because you didn't see the grape, you didn't believe it? So because you didn't see it happen, Tom, does that mean it didn't happen? Interesting that you would say that. Yeah. So some of the quotes specifically. Quote, again, on commenting about the shooting itself. Quote, it'd be unprofessional to comment on what I think happened in that situation. Also, quote, let the investigation play out and hold people accountable based on the investigation. That is very different than what his boss has said. Interesting. I mean, that is the proper statement. That's what Kristi Noem should have said. That's what J.D. Vance should have said. That's what the president should have said. Again, the quote, let the investigation play out and hold people accountable based on the investigation. Who are we going to hold accountable on? Renee Good is dead. She was schmurdered by this Gestapo thug, by this jackbooted madman who apparently was so emotionally and mentally unstable that ICE just decided to put him back out in the streets under a high stress environment. Additionally, I'm not making a judgment call based on available video. Quote, I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. Yeah, and we've seen them all. We've seen them all. We've seen all the videos. All of them. We have seen literally, I don't know if we've seen all of them, but we've seen so many from so many different angles, and they all say the exact same thing. Quote, I wasn't on the scene. It would be unprofessional to comment on what I think happened. Homan emphasizing that he was not present and that multiple angles and a full review are necessary before conclusions on whether ICE agents have used excessive force. Quote, I have not seen ICE act outside of policy. So again, very, very cleverly worded. I have not seen ICE act outside of public policy. So because you haven't seen it, does that mean it hasn't happened? If a tree falls in the forest? If they are acting outside of policy, I'm not aware of it. There should be an investigation and they'll be held accountable. You've not seen them act outside of policy. Well, we know what the policy is. We went through it yesterday. We're going to go through it again today because I think it's important. Contextual points from his statements. Homan repeatedly, this is from CBS. Homan repeatedly stressed that he wants to, quote, let the investigations play out and avoid premature judgments until all evidence, including multiple videos and investigatory findings, is reviewed. He defended ICE broadly by saying he hasn't seen agents operate outside of policy and that officers acting outside policy should be held accountable through formal investigation. While Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem quickly labeled the incident an act of domestic terrorism, Homan's comments were noticeably more cautious and procedural in tone. Yes, I would agree with that. They were. Okay. Let's just, again, go through some of the specific steps around what ICE's roles are, because this was an ICE agent. Okay? DHS itself is not a street-level police force, but it is a cabinet-level department that oversees multiple federal law enforcement agencies. DHS, ICE is an agent of DHS. DHS is responsible for border security. So stop me when I get to what he did in the streets of Minneapolis 2 days ago. Stop me if I touch on anything that he's responsible for. Border security, no. Immigration enforcement, nope. Counterterrorism, nope. Cybersecurity, nope. Protection of critical infrastructure, nope. And protection of federal officials and facilities, I didn't see any of that. DHS sets policy, oversight, and coordination while its component agencies carry out enforcement. DHS law enforcement components: ICE, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, Transportation Security Administration, U.S. Secret Service, and then U.S. Citizens and Immigration Services, USCIS. ICE is a full under DHS, so that's the top. All right, so that's what DHS is responsible for. ICE is a full federal law enforcement agency. Its officers carry badges, they carry firearms, and have arrest authority. ICE operates under Title 8 immigration law and Title 18 federal criminal law. ICE has two primary enforcement divisions. HSI, criminal law enforcement, not just immigration. HSI investigates human trafficking and child exploitation, drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, money laundering and financial crimes, cybercrime, export control violations, and transnational gangs. So even if it were found to be true what Kristi Noem had said, labeling Ms. Good as a domestic terrorist, none of what ICE is responsible for or have oversight over would apply. Human trafficking, child exploitation, drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, money laundering and financial crimes, cyber crimes, export control violations, transnational gangs, nope. HSI agents often work with FBI, DEA, or the ATF. They execute search warrants. They make criminal arrests, again, under the pretenses of human trafficking, drug trafficking, etc. And they conduct long-term investigations. HSI is ICE's largest and most powerful arm. Enforcement and removal operations, civil immigration enforcement. These are the things that ICE is responsible. I know we spent some time on this yesterday, but I don't want it to get lost, okay? Because there are people in this particular space running around saying, oh, they can just operate just like police officers. No, the fuck they can't. No, the fuck they can't. Not my opinion. These are the facts, okay? ERO handles arresting non-citizens for immigration violations, detention of undocumented immigrants, deportations and or removals, fugitive operations, and then immigration court transport. Most publicly controversial ICE agents involve ERO, not HSI. Again, you are either under ICE as an ICE employee, you are either HSI or you are ERO. Neither one of those things can be used to defend what this perpetrator, this murderer, did, because that's not what he did. First of all, violation of the Fourth Amendment, unlawful search and seizure. You can't just pull her out of the car without reason. None. ICE agents are, again, here's the use of force accountability. ICE agents are allowed to use force, including deadly force, under federal law, are governed by DHS use of force policies, are not military but civilian federal officers, then they can be investigated by DHS Office of Inspector General, DOJ Civil Rights Division, and federal courts. Yes, we do know that they are subject to federal law and proper use of force. I mentioned this yesterday. Use of force, let's see it here. Where is it? Deadly, again, these are the rules that govern use of deadly force under our fucking Constitution. DOJ, DHS, FBI, etc. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. I'm asking you, MAGA, I am asking you to try for just a moment to understand that what happened in Minneapolis was in direct violation of not only the law, Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, etc., but the DOJ and DHS's own policies by means other than the vehicle. Yeah, again, a person in the vehicle, firearms may not be discharged. Again, this is 1-16.200, use of deadly force and prohibited restraint techniques. Law enforcement may use deadly force only when necessary, that is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. I will pause right there. I will bring up this picture again. While you're looking at that picture, MAGA, law enforcement may use deadly force only when necessary, that is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. Where is the imminent danger of death? Where is it? In addition, deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Is that suspect fleeing? Right? Is that suspect fleeing? Are they leaving the scene? Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. There's been no claims that Ms. Good was armed or her wife was armed. There's no evidence of that at all. There's never been claims about that. Not a suspect. We've got statements from her mother, got statements from her ex-husband that she's dropping off her son at school in that neighborhood. She lived nearby. I know you don't want to believe it, but this is the truth. What's the distance? Arm's length, a couple of feet. Is that imminent danger? Is that imminent danger? Who is in danger? Who's in danger? The only person in danger was the person who was murdered by this guy. Firearms, again, look at the picture, MAGA. It's 1-16.200. That's the code, okay? DOJ policy. This is use of force, all right? It applies to the federal government. Law enforcement. It applies to law enforcement. If the right wants to use the argument that ICE is law enforcement, then the same rules apply. We know what ICE's job is. It's immigration customs enforcement. That's it. This is an American citizen on the streets of an American city, not suspicious of crimes, not suspicious of suspected of narco trafficking or smuggling or weapons or transnational, any of that shit. She was approached by two armed thugs attempting to violate her constitutional rights, her Fourth Amendment rights, et cetera, et cetera. This guy right here murdered her. Firearms, again, MAGA, look at that picture while I'm reading this. Listen, firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle, or the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others. How is the operation of this vehicle threatening him? Just look at the video. Remove your nose from Trump's taint for just a couple of minutes. Just do that for a couple of minutes and look at the video. Once again, even if you want to say that she was a threat, if he had time to murder her in the front seat of her car, why wouldn't he just shoot at the tires? Why? Why wouldn't he just shoot at the tires? Why is it that the president made the claim that he he's lucky to be alive? Well, that's him right there after he murdered her. And then he walked to the car and then walked back to another vehicle and left the scene. Why was he allowed to leave the scene? That's the question I have. Why was he allowed to leave the scene? Why was he allowed to get in his car and drive away? Why? Why? Why was that allowed to happen? Don't forget, and he had his phone out too. Why was he allowed to leave the scene? So Tom Homan's right. There needs to be an investigation. And if people have violated the law, never mind just their own policies, which of course they did, never mind their own policies, but the law. But why was he allowed to leave the scene? And why did the FBI step in and not allow investigative agencies within the state of Minnesota to investigate? Why? Why is that? Why did that happen? That's what I want to know. Why did that happen? Why did any of it happen? Let's back up a second. Let's remember that this would not have happened if the authoritarian fascist regime of the current executive branch in our country put ICE agents on the streets of Minneapolis. She'd be alive today. She'd be dropping her kid off at school on a Friday, planning for the weekend. Period. He walked to the car after murdering her, called for 911, walked back to his car, got in, and fucking left. Somebody explain that to me. Somebody explain to me, someone explain to me how it is that if he was so injured, what was the statement the president made? He's lucky to be alive? If he's lucky to be alive, how is it that he was able to walk to the car, walk back to another SUV, and then allowed to leave? Absolutely, Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley has a lot to be blamed for. Nick Shirley should be dragged in front of Congress to answer fucking questions. So, again, in our hopes of reminding people what it is that we're talking about here, I am asking everyone. I am asking everyone. I know it's not going to apply to some of our mouth breathers that are in here every single day, but just look at the video. I'm not going to taint it for you. I'm not going to create bias for you. I am just asking you to look at it. And based on what you hear from Kristi Noem, from J.D. Vance, from the President of the United States, was that woman a domestic terrorist? Were they a threat to law enforcement? If you want to say two things, you cannot run from this. You want to say that he is law enforcement, and you want to say that his murdering her was justified. Well, if that were the case, if it were the case that he is law enforcement was justified, then the answer is no. He was not justified based on law enforcement rules. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. Again, he's a murderous thug. So let's zero in a little bit on, let me see if I can find this. Where is my... Okay. Let's listen to a little bit more sound from J.D. Vance, because this applies, because now the argument is that it was justified. Here you go. The claim of absolute immunity. This is mind-boggling to me.
First of all, I wish the state officials in Minnesota would investigate why you have so many people who are using their vehicles and other means to actually interfere with a legitimate
Because they're not.
law enforcement operation. The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity.
Nope, wrong. And I'll dunk on you in just a second.
He was doing his job. The idea that
No, he was not doing his job. He's an ICE agent, not law enforcement, not regular on the street law enforcement. He's not a fucking cop. He's an ICE agent. Immigration Customs Enforcement. Not doing his job.
Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was
going to make this guy's life. Geez, JD, let's see. A woman was fucking murdered. She's got a 6-year-old kid. This guy's life is miserable? Really? Okay.
doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous. The unprecedented thing is the idea that a local official can actually prosecute a federal official with absolute immunity. I've never seen anything like that. It would get tossed out by a judge.
Really? I guess we'll see about that, won't we? I guess we will see. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about immunity. Let's see. I kind of broke this down a little bit for you to make it make sense to me. Whether charges are federal, state, or civil, investigators, typically the FBI, analyze the same core categories: video and physical evidence, body-worn cameras, all agent present. So as a reminder, I wrote a script for you guys. It is in the Discord, okay? The Discord the section under do something, call to action, there's a script. If you want to contact your local representatives, you can do so. I did it intentionally. I tried to remove emotion from it, and I just asked specific questions. Is there body cam evidence? Was his body camera on, and where is it? This is a perfect example of what would then classify as immunity. So what they're going to look at to investigate these crimes: body-worn cameras of all agents that are present, dash cam, surveillance, bystander video, trajectory and ballistics, vehicle movement data, speed, direction, braking, distance and angle between agent and the vehicle at the moment shots were fired. Distance and angle. Again, distance and angle. These are some of the things that they're going to investigate. Distance and angle. Distance and angle. Car is pulling away. He's shooting into the window. Okay? I love this forensic shit. It's fucking great. Investigative journalism done by independent journalists. Support them wherever they are. We are crowdfunded. You want to help us out? You know what to do. All right. Was there an immediate threat at the exact moment deadly force was used? That's the question. There is no evidence. There is no evidence at all that he was under threat. None. Now you might be able to argue, you might be able to argue that the first shot he fired, this one, because we have that video, we have that picture as well. Or is it this one? Even that's a picture of the windshield of the car after it hit the telephone poles and the car further down the street. Again, the angle, right? You're not standing in front of the car and then putting your firearm out here. No. This is the angle that you're shooting at. You're on the side of the vehicle. It's pretty clear. So that, again, through investigation, that's what they're going to find out. DHS use of force policy, constitutional standards, and objective reasonableness. Investigators are going to ask, was the agent in the vehicle's path? The answer is no. Had the vehicle already passed or changed direction? The answer is yes. Were less lethal options feasible? Yes, absolutely. And did the agent create or escalate the danger by stepping into the vehicle's path? Yes. The agent came around the front of the vehicle, was at the driver's side front end when he shot into the windshield. He was already taking his firearm. He was already taking his firearm out of its holster. That's it. That's the whole fucking case. It's not justified. Again, had the vehicle already passed or changed direction? Were less lethal options feasible? And did the agent create or escalate the danger? Agent statements and consistency. These are the things you're going to look for. So what I did is I kind of broke this down under what would be required for immunity and whether or not it was justified. That's kind of the argument here that we're trying to make, or that they're going to attempt to make. The claim is from J.D. Vance that he was justified in what he did. And from everything, say a lot. You can say a lot of things about me, but I try to be as objective as possible. I am just looking at what we know. I'm not filling in the gaps. I'm not prescribing to a narrative. I am looking at what we know. And the question is, was it justified? I don't see how it could be justified under any conditions. I don't see any justification. The only thing that they might be able to run on in court was that at one point he was in front of the vehicle, but on the driver's side by the bumper. That does not mean justification. Not justification to schmurder her. None. Initial statements versus later interviews. Again, statements made by people around. We've got corroboration of the initial story that she was dropping off her kid. She lived nearby. Do you want to believe the narrative from Fox News, from Kristi Noem, from J.D. Vance, from the president, or do you want to believe the video? It shouldn't be that difficult. Because again, MAGA, one of the things you guys have always claimed is that you need video. The reason that you don't believe women when they say that they were raped is because you said, well, unless I see the video, which is fucking crazy. So here's the video. And you don't want to believe that now? This is what we're seeing. I've seen people talking about this. I've seen people look at the video, trying to say that he had to run for his life. That he had to, I literally saw this in the middle of the night last night. I forgot who it was. I should have tagged the creator. He had a panel of 6 or 7 people. And this person was saying that he had to roll out of the way, crouch down, and the car was coming after him, and they had to shoot into the driver's side window to protect himself. Again, I will share the image one more time. Where is it? Where's the picture? This one. Is that him rolling on the ground for his own safety? Nope. That is him standing there, cold blood, murder in the streets of Minneapolis. Explain that. I'm just asking, all I am doing is I am asking for people to explain it. If you can't justify it, then don't justify it. It's that simple. If you can't justify it, then don't try. Then don't try. It's not that hard. It's really not. It's not that hard. Just stop sniffing the fucking taint. I'm serious.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Same. Happy Friday.
You too. Well, I have to work my liberal job that I don't have.
Same.
Well, I wanted to talk as a trauma ICU nurse about the DHS's policy about rendering aid after discharging their weapon.
Jen, first of all, you did not have to do what you just did. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
I meant what I wrote. This isn't about charity. This is about necessity for our country. So
I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So DHS policy on rendering aid and specific components policies required. They have an affirmative duty. Officers have a mandatory duty to request and or render medical aid as appropriate where needed. Medical assistance must be provided or summoned, quote, as soon as practical. This typically means as soon as the immediate threat has been neutralized and the area is safe for medical personnel or the officer to provide care. The standard of care is officers are trained in equipment with individual officer trauma kits. And they said that in the policy, they also say that it's anybody can basically provide care as long as they're rendering aid. It's also a a federal crime, and in the state of Minnesota to, how do I say this TikTok friendly, discharge your weapon, pew pew a person and not render aid. It's a federal and state of Minnesota crime. And the fact that there was a physician there and they refused to allow it is beyond my understanding as a nurse.
Yeah, that's a good question. Before you move on from that point, there's video of a physician asking to render assistance, check vitals, whatever, like trauma at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. So is it I don't know this, and I don't want to make this statement, and I don't think any of us know for sure. I'm not sure if it's a state to state law, but can medical treatment be denied to someone? Like, I don't know that, because that's what they were saying. We've got our own medics. No, you can't go render aid. You can't go check vitals. You can't go check a pulse. Is that against? It's probably not against the law. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
every state has a law that protects people, even if they're not medical providers who are trying to assist. There's a name for it. I'm too old. I'm my memory is anyways, but there's a law that provides safety that even if you're not trained, but you're there with the intent of trying to save somebody and you mess up, you're covered. You get immunity because your intent was to make things better, right? But
Good Samaritan.
Yeah, Good Samaritan. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the idea that this person was saying, I'm a physician, check a pulse, like all this stuff, like clearly knew what he was doing. And I think it's negligent, to have, even if they wanted to have walked him over safely, they basically just sat there and allowed her to be in this car and unalive.
That's a really good point. By the way, friends, hearts in the chat for Jen. Jen took out our goal by herself today, so thank you again. I really appreciate you. Hearts in the chat for Jen. But it's really interesting that I didn't even think about it from the Good Samaritan perspective. I know that there have been, EMS. I used to be trained in basic first aid, so I took that seriously. Like, I've been in situations where I administered CPR. I literally was part of doing chest pumps as medics who arrived. I've treated people on the side of the road as a ski patroller. I've reset broken bones, all this kind of shit. And I've always wondered, in a position like that, could you be sued? Like, we've seen stories of people, doing CPR and chest compressions, breaking someone's ribs, and the person who received the care sued the person who gave chest compressions. Yeah, so it's just a weird situation. But why would you deny someone a physician? Like, why would you deny that? I mean, and I'm not saying they did. Well, it just seems like a weird thing, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the autopsy report is going to be very, very important, because if you see he's pew-pewing into the side window, right?
Correct.
And there is a spot in the skull called the pterion, and it is the weakest part of the skull. And ironically, it covers the middle meningeal artery of the brain. And if you, we see that a lot with hockey players and stuff, people get hit in the head and then they burst their middle meningeal artery, and then it's like lights out. It's like there's nothing. So it'll be interesting interesting in a terrible way, where it was, because if this was an immediate thing, or was it in her neck and then she sat there and bled out, it'll be worse if she sat there and bled out of her neck, while some doctor could have literally put his finger in the hole to save her life.
Correct. Yeah. All these kinds of things. Again, there's so many layers to this whole thing. And to summarize, this was not justified in my mind, but thank you for jumping. Thank you for jumping in today, and thank you for your amazing kindness. And I take your message to heart. I really do. I appreciate you very much for being here.
All right.
Have a good day. Touch some grass if possible. All right. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Take care. All right. Bye. It's a really good point, right? Again, we're going to talk about the whole the ICE recruitment thing in just a moment, but I want to go back to the immunity claim, because JD Vance is claiming that this person's going to have immunity. And I just I want people to think about that statement for just a second, right? Because in our country, you are not. So what JD Vance wants people to believe, and this is strictly my opinion, we know that there's this massive recruit. I might as well share the story right now. This was ICE plans a $100 million wartime recruitment push targeting gun shows and military fans for hire. ICE officials are planning to spend $100 million over a one-year period to recruit gun rights supporters and military enthusiasts through online influencers and a geo-targeted advertising campaign, part of what the agency called a wartime recruitment strategy. It said it was critical to hiring thousands of new deportation officers nationwide, according to an internal document reviewed by the Washington Post. The spending would help the president's mass deportation agenda dominate media networks and recruitment channels, including through ads targeting people who attended UFC fights, listened to patriotic podcasts, or shown an interest in guns and tactical gear. According to a 30-page document distributed among officials this summer detailing ICE's surge hiring marketing strategy. I'm sure that's going to be totally fine. DHS has spoken publicly about its fast-tracked effort to significantly increase ICE's workforce by hiring more than 10,000 new employees, a surge promoted on social media with calls for recruits willing to perform their sacred duty, okay? As a marketer and somebody who does this professionally, these tactics this is what you would do if you want to recruit, okay? Again, looking at this objectively, this is what you would want to do. You'd want to use language like sacred duty, defend the homeland, repel foreign invaders. The agency currently employs more than 20,000 people, according to ICE's website. ICE is the biggest law enforcement agency in our country. They are going to gun shows, UFC fights, listen to patriotic podcasts, or shown an interest in guns and tactical gear. These are the people that they are marketing to. Sacred duty, defend the homeland, repelling foreign invaders. The document reported here for the first time reveals new details about the vast scale of the recruitment effort and its unconventional strategy to, quote, flood the market with millions of dollars in spending for Snapchat ads, influencers, live streamers on Rumble, etc., a video platform popular with conservatives. Under the strategy, ICE would also use an ad industry technique known as geofencing. I should do a whole live on these kinds of strategies. I might do that. To send ads to the phone, web browsers, and social media feeds of anyone who set foot near military bases, NASCAR races, college campuses, or gun and trade shows. Deep state, though. Nothing to see here. Okay, just making sure. The document was also distributed among ICE officials in the days after the agency published a request for bids seeking contractors who could use a, quote, precise audience targeting, performance media management, and results-driven creative strategies to accelerate the achievement of its recruiting goals. The language in the published bid closely mirrored language in the strategy document. The same month, DHS awarded two marketing firms nearly $40 million to support the ICE Public Affairs Office recruitment campaign, according to federal awards data. It's unclear how much of the spending had been carried out, but the plans outlined in the document have coincided with a rush of recruitment ads online seeking Americans who, quote, will answer the call to serve. The rapid recruitment approach is unlike anything ICE has ever pursued. Geez, I wonder why, said Sarah Saldana, a director of ICE during the Obama administration, who recalled the agency filling its open positions through local police departments and sheriff's offices with appeals to officers' interests in federal safety work. So under the Obama administration, they recruited through law enforcement, police departments, sheriff's officers, and those involved in law enforcement already who might be interested in becoming federal law enforcement officers. They aren't using NASCAR races. They aren't using gun shows. They aren't using UFC fights or people that are listening to patriotic podcasts. You see a little difference there? She said she worries that the speed with which ICE is racing to bring on new hires, coupled with the ad campaign's framing of the jobs as part of a war, will raise the risk that the agency could attract untrained recruits eager for all-out combat. Yeah, exactly, Lisa. What could possibly go wrong? The appeal to law enforcement should not be the quicker we get out there and run over people, the better off this country will be, she said. That mentality you're fostering tends to insulate in people a certain aggressiveness that may not be necessary in 85% of what you do. You think? ICE deferred comments to Tricia McLaughlin, a DHS spokeswoman who did not dispute a detailed list of claims and financial figures sent by the Washington Post, and she was, quote, thrilled to see the Washington Post highlight the wildly successful ICE recruitment campaign, which is under budget and ahead of schedule. The agency, she said, has received more than 220,000 job applications, again, from people who go to NASCAR events, gun shows, listen to patriotic podcasts, etc. To bolster its recruiting, the agency has removed its age limit for applicants and offered signing bonuses of up to $50,000. A job listing for a federal hiring board said the salaries for many deportation officers could range from $50,000 to $90,000 a year. Recruitment ads have proliferated across TV, radio, and print, and podcasts, directing viewers to an ICE hiring website that portrays immigration as an existential threat. Quote, America has been invaded by criminals and predators. The website, which includes an image of Uncle Sam saying, we need you to get them out. Student loan forgiveness also, no doubt. They lowered the age from 21 to 18. You can't buy a beer in our country if you're 18 years old. We, people on the left, have said we should raise age to purchase. Now what we're doing is giving 18-year-olds the ability to become ICE enforcement officers. Nice. On social media, administration accounts have mixed immigration raid footage with memes from action movies and video games to portray ICE's mission as a fight against the enemies at the gates. Want to deport illegals with your absolute boys, one post says. Are you going to cowboy up or just lay there and bleed? Says another. But to reach ICE's rapid hiring goals of about 14,000 new enforcement and removal operations officers, Homeland Security investigation agents, ICE lawyers, and support staff, the strategy document also calls for deploying more finely targeted digital ads that can hone in on viewers' interests and lifestyles. ICE recruitment ads, the plan said, will be shown to people with an interest in military and veterans affairs, physical training, gym bros, and conservative news and politics. These are the people that they are targeting. These are the people that are being set loose on American streets. And they would target people whose lifestyles are, quote, patriotic or conservative leaning. Nice. The strategy said to target listeners of conservative radio shows, country music, and podcasts related to patriotism, men's interests, and true crime, as well as any accounts that resemble users with an interest in conservative thought leaders, gun rights organizations, and tactical gear brands, the document said. To further attract recruits, the strategy calls for spending at least $8 million on deals with online influencers whose followers are largely Gen Z and millennial, and who are in military families, support fitness, and tactical lifestyle enthusiast communities. The document did not name specific influencers, but said it would focus on former agents, veterans, and pro-ICE creators who would be expected to host live streams, attend events, and post short and long-form videos and other content to Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, and X, as well as YouTube. Substack newsletters and Threads accounts would also be targeted for more niche communities, the document said. The objective, it said, is to build trust through, quote, authentic peer-to-peer messaging and to normalize and humanize careers at ICE through storytelling and lived experiences. The document said expected more than 5,000 applicants would come through the influencer program, costing ICE about $1,500 per application. ICE has run ads on Google, on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, targeting the latter to military veterans and entry-level job seekers, according to companies and ad libraries, which share public data on the platform's ad campaigns. Millions more in advertising was slated for delivery to gaming consoles, connected TV devices, and streaming services such as ESPN, Fox News, Paramount, as well as across newspapers, billboards, box trucks, the strategy said. Listeners on Spotify have heard ICE ads calling on recruits to, quote, fulfill your mission, leading to hundreds of complaints on the music service's message board. One NASCAR viewer who saw the ads on live stream said in a Reddit post that they changed the channel and separately told the post that they had, quote, never felt such distaste for our government airing such ads. It's targeted. It's targeted. This is government-directed red pilling. No doubt about it. No doubt. This is government-targeted red pilling. You heard it. $100 million on ad campaigns. These ads are effective. I saw you requested.
It was an accident both times.
Okay.
But because I have to leave in like 2 minutes to take my daughter to school.
Okay.
But I agree with you, and I was thinking, I think was it World War II where they had the option to the legal age was 21, but they were allowing people who were 18 and instead of, they had the opportunity, I guess, to like raise the draft age to 21, but instead they lowered the legal age to 18.
I'm not sure, but it sounds similar.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So it's just
circumstances,
right.
Obviously, but
well, for sure, different circumstances, but it just is that they had an opportunity to protect who they thought were youth at the time, right? Because the legal age was 21. But they were allowing men who were or boys who were 18 go into the military, and so it's just the government wants to use. You're right. I mean, they just want to use able-bodied. Oh, it was Vietnam. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They just want to use. Yeah, that's absolutely yeah. They just want to use able-bodied men.
They do, and I know you talk about this a lot in your space about how it's all men until it's no men. This is why we say this kind of shit. They're going to places where men congregate. Gun shows, NASCAR, online gaming communities, gym bros, people who listen to patriotic podcasts.
But they're starting young, and this is what when we talked about when we had that live too. Like, this is bad for men. This is bad for you all. If you're listening, you've been sold a lie. They have trained you, and they have started this very young. And that's why this has been a long-term thing.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to request, but
it's all good.
Okay.
Have a good day. Be safe out there. Thanks a lot.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. Bye. This is government-sponsored red pilling. It's not. This is, again, they're bragging about it. Once again, this is the part that's staggering to me. Hold on. Not staggering, but their targets are, where is it? They are targeting ads by people who attended UFC fights, listened to patriotic podcasts, or shown an interest in guns and tactical gear. The message includes targeting ads that emphasize sacred duty, defend the homeland, and foreign invaders. Nice. Taxpayer dollars, friends. There you go. Good use of your taxpayer dollars or bad use of your taxpayer dollars. Just asking for people who defend democracy. I'm asking for people who care about, actual law and order. I don't, teeth not required. Again, Ash is right. This is so harmful to men, and you don't even know it. You think you're part of something. We discussed this. We've talked about this from the sociology perspective. We are pack animals by and large, and this is what they're capitalizing on. Noah, good morning. Noah.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
I'll tell you what. I look at the stuff going around in the world, and it horrifies me. It terrifies me. The direction that we're headed globally is very terrifying. And I have to say, I think these issues that we have now come face to face with require much more than just, for instance, with firearms. People often talk about, the violence of it all, and how children are the leading cause of, unaliving. But to me, it's a valid argument, but it's not really attacking the reason as to why it's happening. Social condition is the reason why it's happening. 80% of those who perpetuate firearm violence in society live in incredible impoverished conditions. 70% of those who have done pew-pew shootings in school suffer severe bullying and have mental health issues, often locked from the mental health care system.
What is your source for that number, Noah? I just want to make sure before we start sharing data specifically that it's sourced. Where did you get that from?
I can go find it for you right now. If you can give me like 1 minute.
That's fine. Yeah, you don't need to do it now. I just would just be. We have a. It's okay. No, you can come back. It's okay. I generally don't like to have somebody just quote specifics without citing their source.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just would be careful. It's our general rule here.
I understand.
I'm not denying it doesn't exist. I've read something similar. I just want to be careful about that. That's all.
Yeah, no, I understand. I guess my point is that social condition is incredibly important when having these conversations, and I think even more so to capitalism, in my opinion. We live in an imperial country. Like, we're an imperial power, this country, the United States. And so is Russia, and so is China. And as long as those three countries operate themselves in the imperial capacity that they operate under, entire sections and regions of the globe will remain war-ridden, destabilized, and poor Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, due to the maintaining of the imperial powers that is the West and Russia and China. And so imperialism, yes, it's really dangerous to, I guess, we're treading a very we're treading a very thin line. I think we are having to maintain this imperial capacity, us, the people. Usually we're working right in capitalism. No matter where it's implemented objectively, you have to exploit something, but most often it's people like me and you in this country and the rest of us.
Human capital. Yeah.
Yes, you have to exploit. So I'll end with this. In 100 years, perhaps less than, or more than, I don't know, when all of those resources run out and we can no longer maintain the economy in the way that we are today, what'll happen then? I think I think it's also a hypocrisy to hear someone who is anti-racist, anti-colonial, anti-corruption, but whilst living in an imperial powered country and not acknowledging that. I'm not saying we have to, take down capitalism immediately. It's not realistic. But I'm saying we ought to be anti-capitalist because we understand the destruction it's caused. And I'll end with that. I think it's a hypocritical stance.
I think you're right. I don't disagree. I think there's obviously lots of layers to it, but I don't disagree. The system that we are built in is built under white supremacy without question, and people who support. Yeah, so I think that's the larger issue. But thanks for jumping in today. Have a good weekend. Be safe.
Well, white supremacy is connected to capitalism, so you can't really say that.
There is. It sure is. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noah. Appreciate you. Thanks. Yes, there's interconnectivity and intersectionality without question. I appreciate your take, Noah. Thanks for being here. Hey, Santana, how are you, friend?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Living the dream. Not sure whose it is, but living some dream.
Living someone's dream or nightmare. Yeah. Hey, I was just listening. It's fascinating. I jumped in when you started reading the breakdown of like the targeted approach for recruitment. And I think
it's so freaking wild.
Yeah. Well, right before your last guess, it seems like you were going exactly what I was thinking, but the targeted approach for the psychological profile, like they're specifically not only looking for a physical type, but a mental type. And that's
correct.
I think that's because they want them to conform. They want them to fall in line once they train them. and get them set. They're looking for people that you said it's the pack mentality. I agree, but also they're going to be submissive because they're all going to be in the same mold, in the same mindset. It's super interesting how they're going about doing that. Like at the very least, I'll give them credit for having a thought process.
I totally agree. I mean, and you speak to a lot of them. Think about the people that we speak to on the right. And again, this is what red pilling does. So when we challenge someone's thinking, they would say that means you're not American, that you don't care about your country. You don't. I mean, that's the damage, right? Because they see this as being patriotic. They see January 6th. They saw that as standing up for something. That's red pilling. That's what indoctrination does, and that's what good marketers, people who spend, billions and millions of dollars understanding the psychological approach to marketing and propaganda. Again, going where these people are, gun shows, UFC events, NASCAR. That's why we say, be careful of the red pill, right? I mean, you talk to them all the time. This is a perfect example.
Yeah, what's interesting when you were reading off like when you got to like the social media influencer part and you read off like the locations where they were going to advertise or whatever, it was super interesting that you didn't name TikTok, and that made sense to me as well. But like you named Facebook and YouTube and you said Rumble, Reddit, which I don't know anything about. Yeah, at the very least, the problem, I say this all the time, Donald Trump, the Trump administration, they are very, very bad with like implementing strategic plans. Like they don't have consistency and like they mess up a lot. This seems like an actual consistent plan, and that's scary.
I agree.
Holy smokes.
That's a really good point. They have been consistent on this because don't forget, they changed their recruitment strategy midstream because they weren't getting the amount of applicants they want, which is why they lowered the age. They had a cap. They had a target for, I forget what the number was, 10,000 deportations a month. I think that was the number, something like that. And they were falling way short of that. So what did they have to do? They had to add a little bit of spice. They increased the salary. They offered more benefits. They lowered the age to recruit. They hyper-focused geo-targeting. I mean, people, geo-targeting, so much geofencing they call it, people who were near a gun show, people who were near a NASCAR event are now getting algorithmic targeting. It's fucking scary. It's really scary. But to your point, it's consistent.
Yeah, and I may be a little bit different, even from you on this one, Facts, and then probably a lot of people that listen right now. But I'm from the South, from South Carolina, and so I've been to plenty of gun shows. I've been to NASCAR events. Sure. I've been to these actual areas. Really?
Oh yeah. I'm a gun owner, man. I've got multiple firearms. Yeah, I've been to NASCAR. There's a NASCAR event in New Hampshire. I've been to numerous times. I've been to gun shows. Yep.
Yeah. So it's funny you were reading off all the things that that they're looking for. Like I listen to country music as well, and when you were listing the things, I could see the person they're targeting.
Me too.
Like the gym bro, I could see it in my head, and there's a subsection out there that they can actually tap into. It's wild. I've never heard. This has to be like, this is in my opinion, Project 2025 level planning, because someone actually put real thought, a process, like a marketing team, research. Like this is wild. This is super interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's effective. Again, as somebody who grew up and that's what I do for work, this is effective. If I were to grade, if objectively, if I were to grade their tactics, I would give them an A.
Yeah. I mean, like I have, my MBA, my BA is in marketing, but my MBA, both of them are in business, and like this is an actual strategic plan. This sounds like something that you can put metrics on, KPIs, and you can trend towards it, and you can fine tune it to ensure that you're hitting your goals. I've never seen this, and the last thing I'll leave you with is this worries me, because this means that they're putting smarter people in place to try to implement the horrible things that they want to do, and that's scary.
It's a really good point. Have smart people behind the campaign to go after people who may not be as smart, much more easily manipulated, indoctrinated, red-pilled. Right. Yeah. For those of you who don't follow Santana, first of all, what's wrong with you? Please do. Thank you for jumping in today, bro. It's good to talk to you. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Are you going
You
live
as well.
Are you going live today?
Yeah. I'll be live in a couple of morning. I mean, in a couple of hours. It's going to be an interesting morning because I made a decision. I was listening to Mini Hassan yesterday, and he was talking about how whoever the 2028 Democratic nominee is, they need to be ruthless. Basically, they need to talk about
I've got that sound. I'm going to play it in a little while. Yeah.
So my totally live agree. is shifting from MAGA to like, hey, this is the 2028 Democratic agenda, and it's going to be cutthroat. And I'm like, get up here if you disagree. Let's do it. So it's going to be interesting.
Fight dirty. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. There. You as well.
See you, bud. It's a really good point. Again, I mean, I read this and I'm thinking, if I were the one who was in charge of, and if I aligned with these particular beliefs, and I was the one that was in charge of recruiting, these are the exact same things that I would do. Those are the people that I would target. These are the locations that I would target. When they talk about the basic element of marketing, like marketing 101, okay? Identify the target. Like literally put the picture in your mind. Draw the image. If you want to whiteboard it, who is that person? So in this mind, in the mind of the people behind this that are spending the money, right? It's a gym bro, somebody who listens to patriotic podcasts, somebody who's between 18 and 21 years old, someone who might frequent fitness websites or whatever that might be, maybe attends NASCAR events, listens to country music. There is a type. Those people in our country are predominantly young white men. May not have achieved anything other than a high school diploma, if that. Might go to gun shows frequently. May have considered or aligns themselves with military messaging and rhetoric. That's the target. When I've said this to you guys a million times, we have got to protect our young men. We have got to do something. So parents, if you have young men, if you have young boys, if your children are, in middle school age in particular, because the red pill phenomenon is getting younger and younger and younger, you have got to pay attention. You really have got to pay attention. So just to finish up that story, this was J.D. Vance being interviewed a while back, not that long ago, but he was interviewed on Fox, and they were talking about recruitment, and they were talking about ICE. He's being interviewed with Jesse Waters, and I want you to listen to this because this speaks to exactly what it is that we're saying right now. And then I've got some more guests. Okay, here you go.
The immigrants out of the country that came here illegally, that's going to bring prices down. Are we getting these illegals out fast enough?
We always want to get them out faster. A lot of the ICE agents that we have hired in the past 6 months, they're not even done with training. So
that's a telling statement. So I don't even know what the date of this was. This was a while back. But a lot of the ICE agents that we've hired are not even done with their training yet. How do we know? How do we know where they're at? Like, how do we know where they are at in the cycle of their training? And what does that training mean? Do they go on ride-alongs? Or is it trial by combat, so to speak? Trial and error? You're not given live ammo?
all of the big investments that we've made in border security, what we've done is actually gotten 2.5 million illegal aliens out without any of the really big marquee things that we've been working on. That was just simple willpower and the President of the United States coming in and saying this is done. I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country. And if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel.
If things don't work out for me at Fox, could I work for ICE? You never know.
You could work for ICE, but look, you're a very...
And they joke about it. And they fucking joke about it. Like they literally joke about it. I mean, God, that's just wild. Okay. I may not get to everybody today. I know a lot of folks have requested it. It is Free Speech Friday. What is on your mind? A few more things I want to cover, but I want to hear from you guys. Wildly Savage, how are you today?
Morning, Steve. Can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for being here. What's up?
Thank you so much for the work that you do in bringing attention to red pilling of young men. I learned a lot
Thank
from
you.
you over the last year. I've been spreading that message, especially in the Black community for our young Black men. I find that they are not as informed about the red pilling attack, I'll call it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So thank you. I wanted to mention I know we need a lot of things in our arsenal in this fight. I am not the compassionate person for Yahtzees, but for those who might want to take that approach, there is some reporting out there on IDF soldiers being discharged for PTSD. And their concerns about, being charged for war crimes and things of the sort. That might be some information to read up on and maybe use to appeal to emotion for some of these ICE agents. I know they don't see us as people, and there are going to be a few who, of course, are unreachable. I do believe there are people walking out there with no soul, but some of them you may be able to appeal to their emotions for their own lives and for their own I don't know, their own soul, their own mental
Humanity.
health. Yeah, like when this is all over, how are you going to feel? What are you going to do? How are you going to view yourself? How are your family members going to view you? Your friend, like, how does that work out after this is all done? So
That's a really good
just a
point.
thought.
Yeah. It's a really good point. I don't know. I hear you. I don't know if they think of it that way. I think they think of it short term. They're responding to patriotic messaging. They're responding to being part of something. They're targeting people who may be, they talk about the male loneliness epidemic, which I think is bullshit. It's self-inflicted, but those are the people that they're targeting. Let's find these lost souls who we can easily indoctrinate, who we can easily red pill, who we can easily manipulate. We'll send them patriotic messaging. We'll go where they are. It's a tough fight. It is a tough fight.
And to that point, Steve, like a lot of these folks are, the Halo warriors. Y'all aren't built for this. And I think those are the ones that we can reach with that appeal to their own mental health and insanity. So just a thought.
It's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate you very much for being here.
Thanks,
have a good
Steve.
Friday.
Have a good weekend.
See
Bye.
you later. You too. Take care. Bye. We talk about this subculture. It's not even a subculture anymore. Again, think about where these messages are coming. Think about who they're coming from, who they're going to, what the impact is. I've talked about this tribal mindset before, right? How we are social creatures. We want to belong to something, right? Everybody wants to be part of the club. I learned this sales tactic a long time ago, right? Where if you have opposition from a contact or a potential customer, and you've tried everything, and you've made the economic argument, you've made the business development argument, you've found the perfect solution for them, and they still say no. So this is like the last shot tactic. You're walking out of their office, say, okay, I'll remove you from the list. And you literally tear it up and throw it in the garbage can. And then you get this emotional response from someone. Say, wait a minute, what list? What list? I don't want to be taken off the list, even though there is no list. It's that same mindset. It's a psychological manipulation, right? It is the total psyop. You have a desire. Don't you want to be part of something patriotic? Don't you want to be part of something defending your country? Well, of course I do. Why would you think I wouldn't want to be part of that? Where do I sign? It's manipulation. Exactly. Take it away from them and they want it. That's exactly right. That's right, Rebecca. Absolutely right. You take it away and then they want it, right? And it's dangerous, especially that was a fascinating article when I read that, because I was thinking, yeah, absolutely. These are the things that I would do. If I was in charge of that budget and I needed to recruit and I had targets for recruitment numbers, that's exactly what I would do. Just look at the demographics of the voters. Look at the demographics of people who voted for Trump in 2024. You got predominantly white men, and then the Gen Z votes for him. It was for the majority of Gen Z voters that voted for Trump were men, white men in particular. It's not, as a friend of mine used to say, it's not rocket surgery, but it is what it is. Hang on a second.
Hi,
Timo,
brother. How are you?
Hey, brother. I'm good, brother. We'll give you a few minutes, okay?
You please thank you. Timo need the help.
I appreciate you. If you guys want to gift Timo, he does a lot of support for Syrian refugees. If you want to gift him, feel free. I'll give him a few minutes to hit that number. But again, the issue that we are all facing, right, is this militarized police force that are loaded with people that are. I think we should all be able to question their qualifications.
Thank you, please, thank you.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. Stay on mute, please. Stay on mute, Timo. Stay on mute. There we go. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good day, friend. Take care. Be safe. I think we should all question this, and we all want to question this. There should be no reason why we shouldn't, especially when J.D. Vance and Jesse Waters are laughing about it. Do you want now something that Santana mentioned? I'm going to play this right now because I think it's really relevant. This is a great interview that Mehdi Hasan had done, and I think it's necessary to talk about these kinds of things. And I've got some additional commentary about the next wave of presidential candidates, right? And what do we want to see? And what should their opinions be on immigration? What should their opinions be on a wide range of subjects? Let me see if I can find it. Is this the right one? Well, let me play this for you first. And then we're gonna unpack some of the hypocrisies. So this is Mehdi. He sat down with Joaquin Castro, and they talked about the next round of presidential candidates in 2028. And what is this the right one? No, that's a different one. Oh, I can play this for you. This is CNN interview with potential presidential candidates, Alyssa Slotkin being one, and again asking the same question: what is your opinion on ICE going forward? Here we go.
Shooting in Minneapolis, it's going to force every Democrat who wants to run for president in 2028 to answer some version of this question. Some progressives wanted to abolish ICE. What would you say to any progressives who might resume that line of conversation in light of the events?
You need law enforcement. You do. I'm sorry. And whether you're using them correctly, that's a whole other conversation. But again, I wasn't for abolishing the police when that became a popular talking point, and I'm not for abolishing law enforcement now.
That was
bad answer.
Alyssa Slotkin. She's a potential 2028 presidential contender, Democrat from Michigan. That was one way to answer it. I also talked to the lieutenant governor of Minnesota. She's running for Senate as a progressive. Her answer was so different.
We have to absolutely start over with this agency. And frankly, Kristi Noem and leadership of ICE should be dragged in front of Congress. And let's be clear, how they are acting right now is unconstitutional.
See? Again, this is people on the left and how there's divisions within the Democratic Party because people on the left it's clear. Do you want to prescribe to Alyssa Slotkin, which is the conservative, moderate Democrat approach to say we do need law enforcement? No one on the left is arguing that we don't need law enforcement, but we don't want Yahtzee thugs running around. We don't want ICE to be the biggest law enforcement agency in our country. I want a progressive approach to this thing. Do we need ICE under its current conditions? I think the answer is no. I think it's obvious the answer is no. It's just a bullshit answer from my perspective, from Alyssa Slotkin. And I liked Alyssa Slotkin, but sorry, nope. If you can't come out aggressively, like we've talked about this, you guys, we've talked about this whole do something mindset. What are the things that you want to stand for? And I wish Democrats who are good fundraisers could stand up and say, this is fucking bullshit. We don't want this crap anymore. Why the fuck do we need it? And by the way, Republicans defund the police. It is in the one big beautiful bill. Billions of dollars cut from community policing organizations. So again, you can miss me with your fucking nonsense. It's ridiculous. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you for joining us on Free Speech Friday. What is on your mind, my friend?
What is on my mind is I was listening to the previous conversations, and in regards to ICE, I saw a comment that said, "How could ICE target high schools?" Because you all were talking about where they go to do their recruitment, and because a bachelor's degree is needed. However, under the current Trump administration, they've actually relaxed the requirements a lot. I'm not sure if you did mention it because I've been like back and forth, but they have they're allowing people with vocational degrees. So like if you're have a certificate, if you're an electrician, a plumber, if you have an associate's, so on and so forth, when typically a bachelor's degree specifically like it's something related to criminal justice is typically needed. And I think that in order to meet their recruitment numbers, because they are going to have KPIs that they want to meet, they are going to continue to relax the requirements to actually get in to ICE. So they will, I think that they will start looking at high school, at seniors, and also college freshmen, setting up their booth on career day at high schools and at colleges, so I think that's something to consider because they want to ensure that they, basically keep those numbers up and that they keep a core group that is going to be loyal to the mission. There. So I think that's something to consider, really.
It's a good point, Erica. Think about where the military recruits. Think about where they go and they go in. Exactly. It's the same. I think they're extending it out a little bit because they're adding the, social media algorithms and what people are viewing online as part of their recruitment. But you're absolutely right. They can't meet their numbers. It's one thing that they talk about all this rhetoric, but they're not deporting 10,000 people a month. I don't think anything's close to that. So what they're going to do is they're going to put more people that are unqualified, more people that might be a little bit angry, primarily angry white boys, and this is what we get.
Yeah, and another thing is that you mentioned the feeling of wanting to belong, to not be excluded, to want to be on the list. Like you talked about that in marketing. And something that came to mind is how it's different between our communities, and such a sense that I know that in the white community, this sense of national pride is always instilled and you always want to be included in that front. Whereas I think that I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna probably get slack for this. I really am. But I think prior to President Obama, my community didn't necessarily have that because we really didn't have that hope that we actually did belong in the United States of America, if that makes sense. And then after Obama becoming president, we kind of got that hope and our kids got to see it. Like the young people got to see that, you know what, I'm proud to be an American. I want to be here. I want to be a part of whatever this grand, great experiment is. And I think now with the kids that are growing up now, like my son's age, he's 11, is that, they want to be included too. They want to be on the list. So I think that's how a lot of young Black men, young Black boys specifically, are being red-pilled because they want to be included. They don't have the same experience that I had or other young Black men had growing up in the 80s and the 90s and so on and so forth. It's completely different for them.
That's a really great point because I think for the most part, when people think of red pilling, I don't know if they necessarily put a young Black boy's face on the picture of the red pill.
But
it's the young white boy's face.
Yeah,
right? But it's happening. Perhaps coming from different communities or different approaches or different environments that they may, run in, so to speak. But it's the same. Red pilling is red pilling. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah,
and they're swallowing it. Unfortunately, they are. So I agree with the young lady that was just here wildly. Pay attention. It's very important that we pay attention when we hear something from our kids' phones or we hear them say something, talk to them about it. See where it comes from. Don't ever start off accusatory. Just talk to them first. Hey, what's that about? Hey, can you tell me what that is? I always ask Bubba that question. Hey, what's that about? Tell me what that is. And then we just go from there and having the conversations. And I have to find out whether or not he's doing some joking manner. And even if it's in a joking manner, Steve, okay, that's not something that we do joke about. And here's why.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a lot being a parent today. I don't get paid enough for it.
No. I'm with you. It's the hardest job any of us will ever have, and we don't get paid shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you as always. I just wanted to add that because I was like, yeah, I think that's something to look forward to because everything that the Trump administration does is simply, in my POV, just a test. It's a test to see how far they can go. And if we let them get away with it, not if we let them, but you know what I mean? Like if they get away with it, then they're going to go even further. So that's how it works out for them.
I completely agree. Thank you for saying that, friend. Are you going live today at all? What's your plan?
Yeah, this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, this afternoon around 3 my time. I'm in Arizona.
Friends, if you don't follow Erica, shame on you. Please do. I've been honored to join her in her space numerous times. I'm a big fan, as you know. I appreciate you, friend.
I appreciate you too. Have a great weekend. See you later.
You too. See you later. Bye. Thank you, Doug Raiders. I saw you guys kind of jumping on in here. Appreciate you all very, very much. She's right? I mean, it's the red pill does not see color. The red pill is targeting young men, young women too, in principle, but young men, just because of the spaces. You know, that recruiting strategy. I could talk about that shit all day long, but it's effective. It is effective. Job numbers just came out. Is that true? Let me just check with my Mon team. Did we get job numbers, guys? Our folks are on us. My team's on it. We'll get it. Okay, so back to, I've got a few more folks that have requested, try to bring some other people up. We'll have this conversation. Is it bad? I'm not surprised. Hey, Jay.
What's going on, man?
How are you, bro?
I'm doing very well. Just,
what's on your mind?
Well, remember we were talking yesterday in most of the lives about the DOJ and DHS policy on deadly use of force, right?
Yeah.
So I dug deeper, looking for the ICE's definition of it. And when you go look at ICE, they have it defined for the training. It's redacted. It's fully redacted, and they say it's claimed in their FOIA. So they don't have to share. They don't have to share the direct policy for what they train people in, because it's protected information. It's like, so the little it's like, are they teaching them outside of what the DHS and DOJ policies are?
It's a good point, because the argument that they're making now is that ICE is law enforcement, and yes, technically they are, but their law enforcement is limited to immigration-related activities, right? Yep. So if it's law enforcement, then they would fall under federal law enforcement guidelines, which would be, we could assume that it would be the DOJ's guidelines, right? The federal law enforcement, and it's very clear as to what the DOJ's guidelines are for use of force. And it seems like that gentleman in Minneapolis violated on so many levels. So many.
That's the whole thing. Is like internally, I don't know if I could file a FOIA request and see what happens, but when you go look at it, it's 13 pages of all redacted, saying B7E redaction. It's like, fuck you.
Interesting.
So what are you hiding in your training courses that you're not going to give to the public? So.
Interesting. But again, Jay, come on, man. This is the most transparent administration we've ever had. Come on.
Yeah. Gotta love the propaganda, right?
Indeed. Thanks for jumping in today, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for that tip.
Take care, guys.
You too. See you later. This brings up a good point. I mean, again, there's redactions afoot everywhere. I'm just going to check in with our, okay, we've got our job numbers. Hang on one second. Thanks, Tiff. Let's see. So it looks like total non-farm payroll employment added 50,000 jobs. The unemployment rate did drop slightly to 4.4%. So it's 50,000. So these numbers are bad. They're bad. The change in total non-farm payroll employment for October was revised down by 68,000. So again, revisions from the BLS. So MAGA, again, this is now your BLS, your Bureau of Labor. BLS stands for Bureau of Labor Statistics. When I say BLS, MAGA, that will be an acronym. BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. The change in total non-farm payroll employment for October was revised down by 68,000 jobs from a negative 105,000 to negative 173,000. And the change for November was revised down from 8,000 from 64,000 up to 56,000 up. With these revisions, employment in October and November combined is 76,000 lower than the previously reported. Monthly revisions result from additional reports received from businesses and government agencies since the last published estimates and from recalculation of seasonal factors. Wow. But America first. I'm just looking into this. So the headline, hang on one second. So the headline is the revisions, 50,000 jobs added, but the revisions are really bad because it revised job numbers down from October, November to the point where, again, the change in total non-farm payroll employment, this is from the BLS. This is not some radical left news agency. This is from the BLS. The change in total non-farm payroll employment for October was revised down by 68,000 from 105,000 down to a negative 173,000. And the change for November was revised down by 8,000 from 64,000 to 56,000. Okay. But again, let's take Venezuela. Let's build arches. Let's spend $100 million recruiting more ICE employees. Cool. Speaking of that, then let's since that's a great segue to this sound that I want to play for you. This is Marco Rubio talking about Venezuela. As you guys just heard, we now are in a position where we continue to lose jobs at record numbers. We're going to talk about what happened in the House yesterday with ACA subsidies. Don't get your hopes up. I'm still struggling with it. I'm looking at my fucking bill. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to pay for it, but whatever. I'll figure it out. This is Marco Rubio, because the question was asked, how much will U.S. involvement in Venezuela cost the taxpayer?
It doesn't cost us. It doesn't cost us.
The involvement, the U.S. involvement in Venezuela. How much will it cost?
Well, it doesn't going to cost us any money. For example, this oil deal that's happening doesn't cost us any money. On the contrary,
it doesn't.
And if it opens up,
cost no money.
Well, these look. I can't. I don't have the numbers.
Here's the thread. How much will U.S. involvement in Venezuela cost the taxpayer? Rubio, it doesn't cost us any money. Reporter, the whole operation costs no money? Rubio, I don't have the numbers. And you know what's really bad? Is that Marco Rubio is probably the most competent of all the cabinet officials. But I don't have the numbers. Really? So the deployment of military assets didn't cost us anything. I know it's part of the budget. And don't forget, just yesterday, the president said he wants to increase the Defense Department budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. But it doesn't cost us anything? Here's a statement from the president on Venezuela, by the way. Hang on one second.
Venezuela is releasing large numbers of political prisoners as a sign of seeking peace. This is a very important and smart gesture. The USA and Venezuela are working well together, especially as it pertains to rebuilding in a much bigger, better, and more modern form their oil and gas infrastructure. Because of this cooperation, I have canceled the previously expected second wave of attacks, which looks like it will not be needed. However, all ships will place for safety and security purposes. At least $100 billion will be invested by Big Oil, all of whom I will be meeting with today at the White House. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT.
Like, he tells on himself. So at least $100 billion will be invested by big oil, all of whom I will be meeting with today at the Oval Office in the White House. At least $100 billion will be invested by big oil, all of whom I will be meeting with today at the White House. So taxpayer dollars, by the way, your taxpayer dollars go to support subsidies and tax breaks for big oil. Big oil is going to go into Venezuela. They're going to use the taxpayer subsidies provided by American taxpayers who don't have health care, who don't have SNAP benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, who are losing jobs. They're going to invest in the oil infrastructure in Venezuela, and they're going to get the profits. So what MAGA wants you to believe, is this is what the MAGA administration wants you to believe, is that you're going to benefit. Nope, you're not. You are paying for big oil to make more money. Period. Period. That's what you're paying for. Okay? Just keep that in mind. When Marco Rubio says it's not going to cost us anything, and when the president says, I'm meeting with big oil, totally fine. But yet, $100 million of taxpayer money being spent to recruit ICE agents who are killing people on the streets of American cities. Thank you. Yeah. By the way, at 10 o'clock Eastern time, we are going to do a moment of silence as requested by Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota. He in statewide, he's requested a moment of silence, a moment of silence for in remembrance of Renee Good. I know that there are numerous events scheduled across the country today and tonight. We will honor Renee Good at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you for the reminder, you guys. Appreciate you. All right, let me play a little bit more sound here from you because I don't want people to forget this. Remember, talk about hypocrisy. Kristi Noem, last year, prior to, don't forget, she is front and center now on. Let me play the sound from Jared Moskowitz first, because this is great. So Jared Moskowitz yesterday on the floor of the House went after her, and it was fucking chef's kiss.
This is the person. This is the person who, within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What is she, hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either. By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys. She looks ridiculous. She's not just an embarrassment to the country. She's an embarrassment to you and the president. Okay, she deserves to be removed from her job by the president, and if not impeached. Not just for her complete failures in Homeland, but her destruction of FEMA. She's not even running the department. You guys know this. You guys know she's not running Homeland. Your governors and you all, when you need your FEMA money, you don't call Noem, you call Corey. You know she's not running the place. She's a complete and utter embarrassment. By the way, every Homeland Secretary has come in front of this committee once a Congress. I'd like to know the date she's coming. When is she coming? When is she coming? By the way, do you know Pam Bondi has not come in front of this committee? Do you know she's the only secretary to not have a committee yet? When is she coming? What's the date on the calendar that she's coming? You know what? Let's make it easy. I want to make a motion to subpoena Pam Bondi.
Second.
To this committee.
Oh.
How much are we going to...
The gentleman is not recognized for that motion. However, the chair will advise as to the Attorney General coming for, as they do routinely.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. But where is the Attorney General, the only secretary to not appear okay, in front of a committee, the only one. We're into year 2 of this Congress, and we've not had the Attorney General in front of this committee. How much are we going to weaken Article 1 of the Constitution while you guys remain in power? I watch you twist yourself into pretzels trying to defend this, running away from previous statements, disagreeing with yourself, trying to defend the crap that's happening.
Jared Moskowitz, right? So we talk about this in terms, and again, at 11 o'clock Eastern time, friends, so just in a couple minutes, we're going to do a moment of silence in remembrance of Renee Good. He's right. Why are they not appearing? You would think that they're hiding something, right? So, as you know, Kristi Noem, prior to being the DHS secretary, she was the governor of South Dakota. And I want to play a little sound, because remember, now that we're federalizing the National Guard, of which she is in full support of, it's funny, when you're not in power, you think differently.
The Republican governors, they all deserve credit.
This was last year, okay? This was February 6th of 2024, so 2 years ago, before she became the DHS secretary. This is what she had to say.
That stood by Governor Abbott's side. If you didn't stand with him in solidarity, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, 11 o'clock Eastern time. 10 Central, 11 Eastern time. That's right, so in an hour.
I'm not sure Biden wouldn't have precipitated a real crisis down there.
Let me start this again. So again, this was Kristi Noem being interviewed by Sean Hannity on February the 6th, 2024, before she became DHS secretary. All of this churn and burn about National Guard deployment, okay? She is in full support of it now because she's a member of the cabinet. But what did she have to say then before she was in power?
The Republican governors, they all deserve credit, that stood by Governor Abbott's side. If you didn't stand with him in solidarity, I'm not sure Biden wouldn't have precipitated a real crisis down there.
Yeah, Sean, I went the actual day that showdown was supposed to happen. People asked me why, when I heard the news, I immediately the next day was at the border. And it was because of what I heard Democrats encouraging the president to do. They were encouraging President Biden to activate our National Guard soldiers so that they would stand down. He actually was going to take control of our South Dakota National Guard and actually activate them so that they would not protect America. So recognizing the real threat that was to states' rights and how that would be the first time in history a president would pay a soldier to not fight, to not protect our country, made me show up in Texas the next day to let Governor Abbott know, I'm here. South Dakota is with you. We will defend our Constitution. We will defend our rights, because the last several years we've seen the Democrats take away our freedom of religion, our freedom of assembly, our freedom of speech. We can't let them take away our states' rights too, especially our right to protect ourselves.
Kind of funny. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting when you are in opposition to a particular strategy, right? But now you double down. Funny that you said that 2 years ago, Kristi, when you weren't in charge, but back then when you were just killing dogs. Now you are concerned about states' rights? You're the one on the front line championing federalization of the National Guard, aren't you? No, it's actually it's not time. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Central. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be honoring Renee Good with a moment of silence at 11 o'clock Eastern time. States' rights, brother, exactly. 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Central. So isn't it interesting, though, how hypocritical she is? Isn't it amazing that when you're in the opposition, you are anti-federalizing the National Guard in support of states' rights, but now you're fine with it. Funny how that works, right? Any MAGA in the chat, you want to address that blatant hypocrisy? What about Biden? Okay, would you like to address that? Would you like to address the fact that Kristi Noem just said she would stand in defiance of federalizing the National Guard? But now she's totally fine, right? Nothing to see here? Mm-hmm. Of course. Of course not. Of course. It's unreal. Yukon, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Fax?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
So yesterday it came out that this ICE agent was involved in an incident in June of last year?
Correct.
I see it as a huge liability to have someone on the streets performing operations when he could potentially have some sort of PTSD or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I discussed that a while ago. JD Vance pointed that out in one of his bullshit statements yesterday when he said that, oh, this guy was dragged through. He was, he was harassed. He felt that his life was in danger. My question is, why the fuck is he back out there then?
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I must have missed that earlier. That's something I wanted to bring up.
I appreciate that. Thanks for being here and thanks for the support. Have a good day. Be safe out there. Yeah, that's the ultimate point, right? Right. I mean, why is he back out there? Exactly. Sensitive to the situation. Where's that sound again? Let's play that. It's a good time for it. Here you go. JD.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement off.
Well, I will agree with you slightly, JD, that the mainstream media has done a piss poor fucking job of covering this story. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their.
Cool. So here's the interesting little friend here. You said that bullshit still matters. I just sent you an invitation. So if I've lied about something, or if you think what I'm sharing has been bullshit, then obviously you would have no problem accepting the invitation that I just sent, right? Otherwise, we know that you're just a coward. So have a good day, though. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Thanks for the engagement. It's awesome. Again, to our previous guest's point, why would he still be out there? Why would that person still be out on patrol, so to speak? Why? If it's such a serious issue, what happened to the filter? It's weird. No, it's getting better. That's strange. Again, we know that ICE is not necessarily hiring the best of the best. We know that. We know where they're geo-targeting people. We know where their marketing dollars are being spent. We know that they're lowering the age. We know that they're lowering the requirements. Now, if this gentleman was injured or, whatever, suffered PTSD from a particular incident. Now, again, we know that they're recruiting former law enforcement or current law enforcement. We know that they're recruiting former military. So we know from what the science tells us that many people in those positions experience significant examples of PTSD. They live with it every single day. I respect that. But then why are they out on the street? Why are they out on the street? Why are they being given firearms, put into high stress situations? Nobody wants to talk about that though, right? Okay. Nobody wants to talk about that. I get it. I wouldn't want to talk about it either. No way. No way would I want to discuss that because it destroys the entire fucking narrative. But instead, we get little chirpers in the chat who can't defend it. That's who you guys are. You won't look at the video. You will just deny because you love the smell of the taint so much that you'll just accept it. It's like you'll drink it like Kool-Aid. Sorry. That's pretty bad. Okay. Got a lot of folks that requested. I may not get to everybody today. My apologies, guys. I'll do my best. It is Free Speech Friday. Thanks for joining. I'm Steve. Facts live Monday through Friday, 8 till noon Eastern time, and an occasional Friday night. A Geek Dad. How are you today?
Hey, Steve. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah,
What's on your mind?
just a couple quick things. Like last night, I got home from work and I hadn't seen my son in a couple days, and the very first thing he just spoke to me about was what happened in Minneapolis on Wednesday, and he was pretty pissed about it. He was
How old is he?
He's 14. So
okay.
So I kind of have this fear that he's going to hit the red pill because I live in a rural district of Iowa, but at the same time, the fact that he's pissed that this woman was taken down by ICE and he's upset about that, I think I'm doing at least something right in that matter. But like going back to what happened to her, there's one thing that I don't think I've heard yet or not, but there was conversations or video of them saying you just got off my neighbor, and it's very possible like she was just there trying to get out of her freaking driveway, trying to turn around, and like the fact that she was just trying to turn around, because when the video that I saw is like it looks like she was trying to pull out and make a U-turn and go left to go the other way. And then that ICE vehicle pulls up and then jumps out of the car and tries to yank her out of her vehicle. And then she's like, okay, I'm just going to go this way and drive and she was going to drive the other way. And then she got pew-pewed for trying to get out of there.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's been the general theme that we've been addressing this morning, is that in the administration is attempting to justify this. I try to look at this objectively. I really try to look at this objectively, and I just don't see any evidence of that at all. So
yeah, I know. I don't see it either.
And listen, as a father, I want to say this to you, right? It doesn't matter. This goes for parents everywhere. It doesn't matter in this day and age. It doesn't matter where you live. Just because you live in a rural community does not mean that your children are more susceptible to the red pill, right? It's everywhere. So thank you, first of all, for paying attention. And this is a call to arms for anybody who's got kids. Especially your sons, your blue-eyed baby boys. They are being targeted. They are being targeted through Turning Point. They are being targeted through geofencing. They are being targeted through their devices. They're being targeted through their communities that they involve themselves in, both online and in real life. So we've got to pay attention. It's not your job to be your kid's best friend. It's your job to be their parent. And it might require some uncomfortable conversations, and it might feel awkward, but you got to find out where the fuck they're spending their time, because this is bad news. We've got to get out ahead of it. But thank you, Geek, for being here today. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Yeah. One more thing before I go, just a quick little point. All these red hats that are so pro Second Amendment, at some point it's going to escalate worse, and an ICE officer is going to lose their life because a Second Amendment person is going to use their right. And they're going to pew pew back.
Tyrannical government, right?
Yeah. The tyrannical. They're gonna use their rights as in the Second Amendment to pew pew back, because they see somebody coming down in masks to their car to yank them out, and it's not going to end well for either party.
I don't disagree. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you. Have a good day. Be safe out there. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks, Steve.
Sorry. I don't disagree with that. Oh, listen, I just want to, before the conversation starts, Vermont is real and it does exist. Good day, sir. How are you today?
I heard you talking about taints, and so I just thought this is the time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like the mating call. Taints. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just
How are you?
Good, man. I was watching some congressional hearings this morning as they talked about this. And I think one thing that's important to remember is that right now what Republicans are going to do, and what we always do, is we're going to put our best argument forward. And the best argument that Republicans have is that this was self-defense, which is, I still think they have a bad argument, like we've all broken down the video. I think we don't even need to get there. Yesterday on the live, we made MAGA mad. I wouldn't let him move past the first fact. And the first fact is, did any of those ICE agents have the right to approach her and to try and open her door? If not, they're citizens. If they don't have authority to do that, they're citizens. What I haven't seen from any Republican, and I mean any, and I've looked high and low, I listened to the congressional hearings, not one single one of them can state a statute that says why an ICE agent would be able to stop, detain, or even question somebody for impeding traffic. They don't have the authority to do that. So those 3 ICE agents were acting as citizens. They weren't acting as law enforcement, and she has every right to run them over if she wants to. Secondly, Minnesota is a retreat state, not a stand your ground state. So that man was in violation of the law. I would just say to those who are going to have this discussion with your friends, ask them where the authority comes from and don't let them move from that. If they say, I don't know, say, let's figure it out. There's no point arguing whether or not he got out of the way because we don't even know if he's allowed to be in the way yet. And I would contend that in all the research I've done, he has no right to stand in front of that car. He's nothing more than a citizen standing in the roadway, videotaping, and then pulling a gun. That sounds like a crime to me.
2 really good points, Jay. First, that and from what I read, and you might be referring to this as well, from what I read in the DHS and or ICE training manual, whether it's written on a paper bag, who the fuck knows, but they're basically instructed, their training, as Kristi Noem cited often, is they're not supposed to literally walk in front of a vehicle. It's part of their training, right? That's the first piece. In addition, you're absolutely right. Yes, ICE is law enforcement, but it is limited to customs immigration functions. So to your point, they had no right to do what they did. They violated her rights as soon as they approached her car. Period. I don't know. I'm with you. I don't think the conversation needs to go past that.
One more thing, in watching Kristi Noem speak in her best Walker Texas Ranger outfit, we do have a new nickname.
Did you see her on horseback? She went on horseback too recently.
Yeah. We have a new nickname for her, and her nickname is Chuck No Ass. And that's it. Have a great Friday, everybody. Love you. We'll see you soon.
Are you live today? Should we read you?
Yeah, I'll be live.
Okay. I appreciate you, friend. Thanks for being here.
See you.
See you later.
Bye.
Take care. It brings up a really, really good point. I mean, it's just, yes. Well, this is what MAGA doesn't do. You can look at ICE and say they're law enforcement. Okay. We understand that, but their law enforcement functions are limited to immigration and customs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's irrelevant. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. So they violated her rights from the beginning. They did not have any right to be there. They did not have any right to stand in front of her car. She had a right to assume them as a threat. Right? So Jay's right. I appreciate that perspective. It's just, here we are. This is the fucking world that we live in now, that people genuinely believe that murdering American citizens on the streets of American cities is justified under some fucking bullshit. Hello, friend. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Free Speech Friday.
Indeed.
So, as a couple guests prior to me coming up, indicated, I don't really, at this point, what we are all, and I've probably said this before, we're all witnessing abuse. It's gaslighting. You look at the video, you look at it is complete. Oh, he was in self-defense. Oh, they're a law enforcement. That's gaslighting. They're denying reality. End of story. Oh, yeah. End of story. Oh, yeah. There's no let's analyze this. No, they're making, I'm sorry, there's facts and there's fiction. The other side's spotting fiction. I don't care if it was the guy who abused me from January 6th. I don't care if it's MAGA in its comments. I don't care whoever it is. You're denying the fact that what you witnessed, how her wheel was turned away, he was the aggressor. He was the antagonist. End of story. That's it. It's gaslighting. It's manipulation. It's abuse. That's it.
You're right. I mean, I could become a right-wing grifter and change my name to Fiction Still Matters.
I'm seriously. I'm like, and I feel, it's like I don't feel bad. Like I feel like sorry for these MAGA. And anybody here in the comments that believes that oh, well, she got what she deserved. God bless. Oh my, I hate to say that. Oh my God. And then they're going after Tim Walz and all this. When is it going to be enough for you, MAGA? When is it going to stop? When are you going to use the brain matter between your ears? You claim we're snowflakes. You don't have critical thinking skills to the point where you're saying an innocent white female, you have serious mental health problems. Serious mental health problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, great point. Somebody just mentioned this comment, and Jay just talked about this as well. Step in front of a car and then claim to be victim, right?
That's Darvo. That's a Darvo. Deny attack, reverse victim offender. That's all it is. Once you see these patterns, and I said it before, abuse survivors, we see this. This is not surprising. It's not surprising. They're denying reality. They attack you and they reverse the victim offender role. It's all abuse. And if anybody here, left or right, blue or red, purple, whoever you are, in these comments, everyone, if you don't think abuse can't or won't happen to you, you're mistakenly wrong, because it's happening to you right now. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be talking about this. All of us. So, okay, I'm going to stop. And then as far as PTSD,
thank you.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I have PTSD. That's an excuse. If you have PTSD, you go get fixed. It's your responsibility. End of story. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't, believe me, I wasn't attempting to
oh, no, I know you weren't. No.
I'm just saying, if that's the argument that JD Vance wants to make, that this person had this horrible incident, that he had 33 stitches, whatever else, then why the fuck is he back out in the street? That
exactly. Oh, right. Yeah, no, you're right. No, I wasn't, no. That's what I'm saying. He's weaponizing PTSD. Oh, poor me. Hey, sing me a song. Play the smallest violin. Want some wine some cheese with your wine. I don't want, no. It's, again, gaslighting. Again.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you,
thanks,
friend. As always,
for
appreciate
everything.
you. Happy Friday.
Thanks. Appreciate you. You too. Happy Friday. Be safe.
See you later. Take care. All right. Bye. Yeah. I mean, listen. Jay does great work and his show, and I saw a little bit of what he's talking about yesterday. It's like holding people to the fire, but how do we do that when they're literally just denying reality? I mean, we have these conversations about all these various things. Like, how can you not see that? How can you not say that that's the truth? How can you not believe this person's testimony? Well, this is just visual evidence. It's like right in front of you. So this is why we tell them that they're in a cult, because you can't look past it. It's right there. This picture to me is the entire ball game. Make sure. Is that the one? No. This one right here. I mean, that's the entire game right there. Right? How can you say that you're under threat? How can you say that he was in danger? Once again, there's the picture. It's not AI. It's not manipulated. I didn't Photoshop it. This came from the video. How can you deny that? Why was he there in the beginning? Why was he there to begin with? Why did this guy? Where's that other picture? Hold on. That's another example. Why did that guy approach the car so aggressively? Where is it? Right here. Why is that guy an ICE agent? Okay. Immigration Customs Enforcement has no traditional law enforcement responsibilities under their own guidelines. Why is he harassing an American citizen? Why is he even there? Well, because the administration put him there. But why is he even there? Her rights are being violated right there at that moment, attempting to remove her from her vehicle. Fourth Amendment, unlawful search and seizure. Why is he even there? That's where I'm glad Jay brought that up, because that's a great point. Her rights are being right there. And then the other masked thug comes around the corner, shoots her out, and as we know, the rest is history. Why did that even happen? That's the whole ball game. And you're right. MAGA, somebody want to explain that to me? Explain it. Explain why he's there. Explain it. Go ahead. None of you will, because you can't. No, you can't. You can't explain it. This will be great. So listen, I will engage with you for a few minutes, but as soon as you start to do your bullshit, you're out of here. Clear?
Oh, you're so sensitive about the facts. I thought they still mattered.
Once again, bro, do you want to have a conversation or do you not? Because I'm not going to waste my
Yeah,
time.
I do, but you don't really start off in a really good tone. You should say, "Hey, how you doing, Steve? I'm doing great, Steve. How are you?"
Get the fuck out of here. I tried. But no, I'm not interested in playing your fucking bullshit game. Your little semantics crap. Hey, Jess, how are you?
I want to be like, I'm great.
Yeah, I hear
How are you?
Same.
I just want to say to you're not the Gen X. Oh, like, yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come up to say, as a physician, I was like this, like, all day. I'm someone that runs to the front of the plane because I traveled for work. I'm someone that will help anyone at any time because that is my job. And I'm just coming from a physician standpoint. And granted, probably already passed. Granted, but you want to check a pulse, and you won't let them check a pulse. And I'm sorry, I look like this. This is how I look.
Why are you apologizing?
Because I'm a chronic apologizer. But like this has been my voice for the past couple of days. Is just like and then we had a thing yesterday, and I guess I'm on TV now, but whatever. But I'm like, the physician standpoint of this is like, you blocked a doctor from going to check on a woman who is pew-pewed in the brain hole, or, I'm trying to be TikTok, whatever. Like, what the fuck, Steve? And I can't stop thinking about it. And it goes back to, well, where were your thoughts and prayers, before? I'm like, I get that. I get it. But it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing, and since it's Free Speech Friday, I'm not trying to segue, but I left my practice for a little while. I'm done with the vaccinations, with healthcare, with ACA, Medicare, Medicaid. Like, I'm like, I will not be a punching bag for this, but I will take a little bit of respite, and I will come back. So I'm thinking of going into healthcare advocacy a bit, but what happened, and they won't let a doctor, and seeing his hands up, trying not to be pew-pewed for the sake of probably checking for someone that was already gone. But at the same time, it's like, that's what we do. Basically, get the fuck out of my way. I think that's all I have to say. I am horrified. And for the people outside of my group, but for the people around me, I even have someone close to me that said, well, their head was off. And I'm like, bye. Like, and they're in medicine. And I'm like, you guys are sick or ignorant, or, the word I love that you use. What's the word? Apathy.
Yeah, apathetic.
Anyway, so I've been like this for a couple of days, but I am blessed that my family is okay, and I count my blessings, and I will keep working with our group and just You think, and I think a lot of this is deep down is just to break us down. Nice try. Because it ain't gonna fucking happen. So you think I can't do it? Fucking watch me. And at the same time, yeah. Yeah, it's just like you're just making me louder in a peaceful way. Peaceful. But yeah, Mama Bear can get kind of loud, so that's about it.
Listen, you have my number. If you need to unload, feel free. Okay.
All right. Love you. Love you guys.
Love you too. See you later. Hang in there. Chin up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Chin up, shoulders back. Yep.
You got it. All right. Bye. No notes. No notes. It's wild, right? It's crazy. But it's real for people trying to justify it. Hello, Mosquito. You had a lot to say in the chat. What's on your mind today?
Hey there, guy. Yeah, I want to answer some of the questions for you about why ICE was in that neighborhood.
So why you think ICE was in that neighborhood?
No, I know they were in the neighborhood.
Okay, well, we know that they were there. But before we go any further, I want you to address something for me. Okay, I want you to explain this picture to me. Explain that.
Yeah. She was blocking traffic. She was blocking ICE, getting in their way deliberately.
Wait, bro, hold on. I don't want anything else. I want you to explain this picture to me.
It's a little blurry, but you got an ICE agent there, and you got a criminal on the right.
So what did she do? How is she the criminal? How is she a criminal? Explain that to me. So again, I want you to explain.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that, but you interrupted me.
What is he doing in this picture?
Well, they were trying to remove her from the vehicle. They were trying to tell her.
What is he doing in? No. What is he doing in this picture?
Well, if that's what I think it is, he's defending lives of others, and he's saving a lot of people.
What is he defending?
He is defending from a deranged criminal who was trying to unalive him.
How do you know that she's a deranged criminal?
Let's see here. She was obstructing ICE. She was not obeying orders, and then she hit an ICE agent with her vehicle.
That's not the question I asked.
Why do you not like free speech?
Bro, because you're
I thought it was Free Speech Friday.
I'm asking you to explain this picture. You just made a claim. Wait a minute. You made a claim that she is a deranged criminal. You have no evidence of that at all.
There's lots of video.
Feelings. Wait a minute. No. Those are your feelings to justify murder.
No, I don't have feelings about this. I have facts.
Oh, no, you do. So explain.
Because facts still matter.
No facts. I haven't heard it. So explain to me.
Well, you don't let me speak more than 2 words without going.
I want you to explain this picture to me. What is he doing?
He is ending a threat.
Doing here?
He is ending a threat.
So is that protected by his oath?
It's protected by human law. Actually, you can defend yourself. And actually, Tim Walz signed a law in 2020 that allows any law enforcement agent to defend themselves if a vehicle is used against them.
The vehicle wasn't used against him. There's no evidence of
they're law enforcement.
What is their job under law enforcement?
Mostly immigration law, but they also have many facets.
Entirely. No, they don't.
It depends on how the scene goes.
No. Again, it's about ICE is a federal law enforcement agency. Yes. Their job specifically is to do what? Enforce immigration laws.
You just agreed with me that they're law enforcement. A minute ago, you didn't. Whoops.
Again, they are law enforcement for immigration law.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, Mosquito. No, listen. Immigration.
But they can defend themselves when other things happen, like when citizens think they have special rights because they've been brainwashed by people like you or the media.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong about that. So
I'm pretty right. I'm a good mosquito.
No, no. Let me explain this to you. Deadly force. This is from the Department of Justice's policy under law enforcement. So if you want to make the claim that they are law enforcement, then don't talk. That they would then be governed under law enforcement MO. Correct?
Well, I don't know. Policy is not law.
You can't have it. You can't have it both. It's policy is not law.
Correct.
So then, what is the department? So what is law enforcement? What's law enforcement?
What's their policy when their life is threatened?
Mosquito. Listen. If it's policy and they work for law enforcement, what are they governed under?
I don't know. The
Are
federal.
they supposed to follow what? Just their own thoughts and their own feelings?
Well, we all swear an oath to the Constitution. I would think that's where you're going
Right,
with this,
exactly.
Right? Oh, I'm so smart.
They swear an oath. Wait. They swear an oath to the Constitution, correct? Which means they violated her Fourth Amendment rights by approaching her car to begin with. So that's the first point. Yes.
No,
did.
she was
So here's the
blocking their
second-
scene. You don't want to hear those facts because
doesn't
facts don't
matter.
matter to you.
It
Facts
doesn't
don't
matter.
It does matter.
Mosquito,
You
it
got to
doesn't
watch
matter.
the whole
Listen.
video, my friend. Oh, guess what? There's drone shots of it now too. They had the whole thing on
great.
drone video. That's going to really blow your narrative when you see that video.
Cool. Then
boy.
tell you what. Then do me a favor, bro. Let's go back to the conversation that I was just having. You said so. Do you believe that ICE is law enforcement?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So then, under law enforcement, they would have guidelines, policies that they're supposed to follow. Correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so under 1-16.200, the use of deadly force and prohibited restraint techniques. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Is that suspect fleeing?
Yeah, she was fleeing, and she also struck the officer. So then it kind of changed the game.
That's
there,
not the
guy.
question. That's not the
Yeah,
question.
it is the question.
That's not,
You don't like an answer.
no, it's not. Stay on topic, bro. Stay on topic. Listen.
Yeah, you know what that's
I need you to
for?
listen.
That's for
Bro,
an
I
illegal
need you to
alien
listen.
that's fleeing from them. They can't just pew him in the.
So then now you're adding context. So if you don't want to listen, I'm just going to move on.
Doesn't mean when you hit an ICE agent with a Honda Pilot that you still can't do that.
Once again, you are adding context. You said, I know you're going to interrupt me.
Wait,
again.
I'm adding context, and that's a problem.
You are. No, you're trying to justify murder, and I'll give you. An
No,
example.
this wasn't murder. This is self-defense.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, 100%. You just clearly want to lie to your audience.
You know what my favorite kind of mosquito is?
Well, we are annoying. Is it the females?
Those that hit my windshield. So that would be an example of someone who just wants to rage bait. And I took the bait a little bit only because I want to expose him. Okay? Once again, a reminder, and you notice when pressed under the law enforcement guise, right? The deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. So again, you're just an idiot. And I think it's what, the worst part to me, the worst part about this entire thing is the humanity or the lack thereof. That's the part that bothers me more than anything. That's the part that really just grinds my fucking gears because you come up here and you fucking laugh about it. You try to make excuses because your lives are so fucking empty and so fucking shallow. You don't give a fuck about your fellow man. Hey, Smitty, how are you, friend?
I'm doing okay, man. Thank you so much as always for having me up.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you. Love you, bro.
My pleasure.
Yeah, let me say this, and obviously everybody witnessed what just happened. The fact that this person, within 10, 15 seconds, described this young lady as a criminal and as deranged.
Correct.
To be so illuminating to everybody in the chat, right? Not even any ounce of empathy that this person is no longer with us. Not any ounce of empathy to all of the women in this country who I said, last time when I was here, brother, that are treated so horribly by this country. And again, I'm going to repeat what I said last time. Why would any woman, again, given the way women are treated in this country, why would any woman stop when men running up to you, again, given the lack of reproductive rights, given everything that women are going through right now? Why would anybody stop? And to call her deranged. Listen, Steve, if she's deranged, I don't know what I am, brother. I don't even know how to describe. There's no adjective in the dictionary to describe where I'm at. No. And she's right. I'm sorry, but if she's deranged, then how do we describe the ICE agents that let her stay there for 15 minutes without any medical assistance? What do we describe the person that told the doctor that was trying to check her pulse? How do we describe him, Steve? right? How do we describe all of those people that blocked the ambulance?
I know. I lost you. Did we lose sound? You still there, Smitty? I can't hear him. Did I lose you? Hello? We lost you, Smitty, for some reason. I'm just going to mute you real quick, bro. I don't know where you went. You want to request back up? That's wild. Can't hear. Yeah, that's weird. If you want to request again, come on back up, bro. I don't know what happened there. That was wild. Smitty, if you're still in the chat and you want to come back up, I want there. I see you. I'll just invite you back up. I don't know what happened. That was wild. Yeah, exactly. The church pews are full of those fine Christian men in most cases. It didn't look like he got a phone call, but maybe his phone died. I don't know, because he might have timed out. If you want to request again, bro, just let me know and I'll bring you right back up. Hello.
Hey, I was really waiting for Smitty to go off there because he was yep.
Yep.
Woo! I appreciate you bringing Mosquito up because I think that is a really good example of kind of where we're all at. Like, it is exhausting. There's a reason all of us who get this are all feeling so exhausted, right? This is what it feels like to live under fascism. This and people who have to believe that this was justified, they have to believe it, because if they actually say, you know what, this wasn't okay, then everything else that they've fixed their brain to pretzel into believe breaks down.
Exactly. Like, it's one thing when we can talk about, the nuances of conversations, or to say, well, that's not what he meant in this case, or, I really don't care that he promised to end all wars. This is just obvious.
Yeah.
Somebody, I see you, bro. I'll bring you up in just a minute. This is just obvious. How do you deny the photographs? I've not seen drone footage. Was it drone just in the random area overhead? I mean, every bit of video, people know me, say what you want, but I'm objective. I call balls and strikes. Find me something that refutes everything that we've seen so far. They're literally in violation of their own policies, their own rules. They violated her constitutional rights by approaching the car to begin with.
Right.
Nobody, to your point, the whole psyop blows up. Right? Yeah. If they believe any one thing not to be true, then the entire thing and everything else then becomes questioned.
And that's why you see the narrative coming out of the administration that is not like it would be in any other world, right? Like, in any other world, at a minimum, we're going neutral. At a minimum.
Correct.
But they have to have a narrative, because that narrative needs to get bitten into and glommed onto and eaten like food for the masses, so the masses can continue to help them justify the authoritarianism that they are putting on all of us. And there's a reason we all feel like we're in a narcissistic relationship right now, because we are.
You're right. Hang tight for just a second. I'm going to bring up Smitty back up so he can finish.
Good, because I want Smitty to go off.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, man. You just went silent.
No, I don't know what happened either. Typically I like to think that I'm pretty calm, I'm pretty collected, but that pissed me off so bad, man. I was so angry, man. I said, you know what? I got to come up on here and talk to my brother Steve, man, because again, I don't know where I stopped, but again, what adjective in the dictionary describes folks who can sit and just watch someone in their last moments and have a doctor that's saying, hey, let me help, let me check her pulse, let me comfort this woman, and people say no? Again, what adjective do we use in the dictionary? And like I said, I don't know if y'all heard me say this, but again, if she's deranged, I think it's 1,600 other people in this chat right now that also feel the same way. And we can't lose our empathy, brother. We cannot lose our empathy. We cannot be rage baited, as you said. I think that's the best way to describe that person that came up before me. We have to maintain our humanity. But that was so frustrated, man. That was so frustrating to hear.
It was. I want to give you so take your flowers. The way that you run your lives, I think you're great because you'll just open up your panel and you'll engage in conversations and you'll get people to talk about whatever's on their mind. But the way in which you do it, right, is a bit unique because you'll have a prompt and you'll ask questions about people in hopes that they'll respond to the prompt. And you get all walks. If you've seen me in your lives many times, you've been gracious enough to allow me to come up on your panels. But here we are in this particular space. Like, I'm not afraid to talk to people. It's Free Speech Friday, but I've got a limit. Like, I have got a limit. I'm not going to allow somebody to come up here and spread their hatred and just deny reality. Yes, we have to expose it, but there's got to be a line, right? There's got to be a line to Amy Dawn's point, to your point, Smitty, where people are just laughing at her losing her life, laughing at it, not willing to have an objective conversation about what we saw, not looking to say, okay, this is what I see, this is what I saw, this is what the law says. That's a conversation we can have. But to laugh at an innocent woman losing her life?
And that's how far we've tumbled.
Crazy.
Like, we're literally at a point where people have convinced their brain so hard that they need to believe this, that they've lost their humanity and to actually honor the sanctity of life. I don't care if his foot was ran over. We know it wasn't. We've seen all the video of he wasn't touched. And shouldn't have been there in the first place. That is irrelevant. He shouldn't have been in the street in the first place. If he's got to, thank you, JD, for letting us know he has a history where his decision making isn't okay. You read the Stacey Patton post yesterday, was it? Yeah. About the brain isn't meant to do these things and doesn't make good decisions when it's in fight flight. Sympathetic nervous system. There's freaking brain science about the fact that guy shouldn't have even been in the street if that's what happened to him. Lawrence had pictures of his injuries on his show last night. Those are some injuries. I'm not going to say that man isn't traumatized. That is valid. He shouldn't have been in a position where he had a deadly force in his hand. That's just not okay. And this administration needs held accountable for that. We need to stop talking about what this lady was doing or not doing. I don't care if she was under suspicion. She, at a minimum, was denied due process, and her life is over now, regardless of what that guy got to do.
Correct. And I mentioned this yesterday to start the show, and I'll direct this question to you, Smitty. Obviously, it's nothing. What happened on the streets of Minneapolis day before yesterday is nothing new to the Black community in our country. Nothing new to the immigrant community in our country. Nothing new to marginalized community in the country. So I want to make sure that is addressed. I mean, I know you know that. I've seen you speak of it. But this feels like now no one is safe. And we keep asking for what is the red line for white, conservative, Christian male voters in our country? Is this the line when they see a white woman just murdered in the street? Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. Because nothing will give them empathy towards any of it. Because Amy Dawn's point, to your point, Smitty, everybody else is at fault. This woman was deranged. This woman was a domestic terrorist. This woman was a threat. No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. Just like innocent black men are gunned down every single day because of fucking racists, because of fucking bigots, because of white supremacy. Every day.
And Smitty, I so appreciate you speaking about your empathy.
AD, let Smitty, if he could answer that question first, I'll go right back to you. So I just want to call that out, Smitty. I understand that this is not, it's a day in the life for Black people in our country. Day in the life. Nothing new, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, and Amy, I appreciate you as well. And I appreciate what you said about this administration for sure. It isn't new for us. I'll give you one quick example. When I was a younger man growing up in LA, there were definitely instances where people were unalived, and ambulances the ambulances didn't even show up, Steve. They didn't even show up. They would literally just call the coroner. They would let the person, be in that state 30, 40, 50 minutes. We would see it all of the time. So it is nothing new to us. It is very traumatizing to us, though. It opens up wounds when we see this happen again. And it's something that I've talked to other Black people about, that, this is a time that we do, even though this is not new to us. And I appreciate everything you said, brother. I really do. At the same time, if it's new to somebody else, let's lead with empathy and love, right? We don't want to, at this point, divide all of the loving people in America. We already don't have enough empaths, right, and loving people. So let's not divide all of those people who are seeing this and who are traumatized. Yes, we do have experience. Yes, it hurts us. Yes, we know this is nothing new. We have been dealing with this, and we are so sick and tired of being sick and tired. At the same time, right, let's also hold space for those, for, this is their first time seeing this, right? This is their first time dealing with this. Let's not dismiss those voices. And so, yes, it is very troubling. It is very concerning, right? A friend of mine said, it looks like, these white folk will kill other white folk just so rich people will have power, right? The people that are doing this don't even have the real power, Steve, right? It's to keep these oligarchs in power. And so that's the whole ironic period about, these rich people don't care about you. And so it is so sad, man. It is so sad.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. AD, did you have a question or a comment for Smitty before
I don't
we,
know that I have notes after that. Smitty, you nailed it. Like this, it's like, yes, thank you for your empathy about how women might feel, because I'm sure you know what it might feel like to be in a position where your life feels threatened by someone in a mask or someone in a uniform. Like there's just so much need for us to recognize what is happening here. And you nailed it. Like the people in power need us to be divided. Like what was it I heard? They need red and blue to be fighting so green can continue to take over, right? Like the people with the green are the ones who need red and white to be in battle. This is ridiculous. And we need to see it for what it is. Thank you, sir, for what you do.
Smitty, I appreciate you, brother, very much. It's always an honor. Try to have a good weekend, okay?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. And,
Appreciate you, Smitty.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah. And I just wanted to say, man, again, I always love being up here, man. And what you said about me a couple of days ago, it really hit, man, in a very positive way, man. I feel the same way about you. No, I appreciate you, bro. Man. Yeah, no, I really do love you, man. And when I get out to the East Coast, I'll be out there soon, man. We gotta link up, man. I really want to see you and break bread with you, man.
I appreciate that. Well, my daughter, we're waiting on college acceptance letters from a lot of West Coast schools, so I might be heading your way. So either way.
Either way.
Either way.
Let me know, bro.
You, man.
Yeah.
You got it. Take care. Have a good day. Be safe out there. All right, see you later. It's a good point. And I want to address, listen, I've seen a lot of people commenting this morning about, Titan and others saying that there's this drone footage. Listen, there is no drone footage that's going to change what happened, okay? You can make all these claims that you want, but just like I asked Mosquito, for anybody who still wants to support criminality, I would like you to explain wait a minute, hold on, this picture, because this is the one that I think is the entire ballgame. Where is it? It's this one. Explain that to me. Explain it. Explain it.
But Steve, people can't logic themselves.
Right. He's like 2 feet away from the car. He's got his gun in his hand and he's firing shots through the window that killed her. So notice how none of you can explain it.
Well, they'll explain
it.
What
I'm talking. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So Titan, you're making this comment. Show the drone. How is the drone footage going to show anything different than that? That is video. Somebody explain that to me. Explain it, literally. Explain that. You can't pivot away to something else like your pussy-ass bitch friends did earlier. Explain that. Explain it. You can't. You can't because you won't because you can't. You won't because you can't. Gun in his hand. After he already shot the windshield from the front on the corner, he was not run over. He walked to the fucking car afterwards. He walked back to the car, put his mask up because he's a pussy-ass bitch fucking coward, walked back, got in a car, and left the crime scene. He wasn't taken to the hospital. His life was not under threat. He was not barely within inches of his life, as the president tried to claim. He's a fucking coward. He's a fucking murderer. And you can't fucking defend it. You know you can't. You will do everything you possibly fucking can to try to avoid accountability for the people who put him there in the first place. She would be alive today. I wouldn't be going to a vigil tonight at 4 o'clock Eastern time to celebrate her life if this guy wasn't on the streets of Minneapolis. Period. There's no way around it. You won't fucking defend it because you can't. You won't explain it because you can't. You will find some other lie to fucking tell. That's the picture right there. I don't think there's any other picture that's a better indicator than that.
Yep. They need to believe it. It's not even about explaining it. They need to believe it. Otherwise, everything else falls apart.
Correct. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you.
You bet.
Talk to you later.
8 minutes, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Sorry, thank you. I got that. 8 minutes. Again, that credible fucking drone footage. What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. You don't want this to explain. You just want to gaslight about it. Okay, Titan. Again, I'll give you an opportunity to do the same thing. Okay? I just sent you a request. I want you to before you say anything else. Before you say anything else, I want you to explain this picture.
How many words are you going to give me?
Explain it.
That's an ICE officer defending his life.
How is he defending his life? Right there. Explain that.
Because he was struck by the vehicle.
Explain. Now, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about this moment. How is he defending his life in this moment?
Because you fire until the threat is eliminated. That's law enforcement training.
He's not law enforcement for that. Under those roles, is she an immigrant?
Well, then why does he carry a pew pew?
Is he an immigrant? Is she an immigrant?
He carries a pew pew and has pew pew training.
Titan, is she an immigrant?
No, she's not.
Okay, so then her rights were violated when they approached her vehicle because ICE does not have traditional law enforcement responsibilities. Explain what he's doing. Wait a minute. What is he doing right here? What is he doing?
Self-defense.
How is that self-defense? Explain it.
Because he was struck by her vehicle.
No, again, explain this moment. I know it's hard, but explain this moment right here.
He's pew-pewing her in the head a few more times.
Right. Justified, right? In your mind?
2 more times. Yes, 100% justified.
Get the fuck out of here. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Again, can I just want people to understand what it is that we just witnessed with 3 guests this morning. This is beyond the empathy. This is beyond anything other than just complete fucking denial. So it's one of 3 things. Either they are just rage-baiting trolls, they are so indoctrinated that they can't see past the obvious, or they're just pathetic fucking scums. All 3 could be true. All 3 could be true. Just to be objective. My friend Hector is objective. He calls balls and strikes as well. I know you. I know if you were to be presented with that picture, you would be objective. Right? It's not that hard. How are you? Good to see you.
I don't know what to say about these people anymore. So I've been playing this game where I take their scenarios and I actually play with that. And I'll use their scenarios to still prove that ICE was in the wrong. Say he was struck by the vehicle. 1, it would have been his fault because he's not traditional law enforcement. He should have never been engaging with her the way he was. He should have never put himself in harm's way of the alleged vehicle that was trying to run him over. And then upon him being struck by said vehicle, he wasn't in some gunfight with a gang member. This was an American citizen who was trying to get out the way per the orders of the previous ICE officer. So, if he was struck by the vehicle, and then after said vehicle struck him, vehicle was out of the way and going in a different direction, he still decided to whip out his firearm and just pop her in the face just because. It wasn't defense because the act already took place, right? Right? Allegedly.
Correct.
It was retaliation. He got in his feelings and shot her in the face.
Correct.
And that, per even traditional police handbook, is wrong.
Correct. There is, I mean, long story short, Hector, there is no defense. That's why they're coming up with AI videos or drone videos. That's why they're trying to say that it was justified because he was protecting his life in self-defense. There is no defense for this. And where the fuck was other law enforcement? That's why we say ACAB. That's why we say it. Where was everybody else? Why did they let him? Why is nobody talking about this? Why was he allowed to leave the scene?
If the president of the United States, y'all's Lord and Savior, couldn't even post a video proving what he was claiming, and he is over ICE, he's over the FBI, what makes you guys think that you have this end-all be-all footage, drone or whatever, that proves the point? I had this guy go back and forth with me last night. She said she was this, she was that. I said, where's the footage? Show me the footage. You're delusional. Show me the footage. No one can seem to show me the actual footage. Everyone just falls back on she was trying to run him over. And then if you look at the video closely enough, you know that's not true either. You know it's getting bad when they're taking out Rachel's and Jenny's and Jackie's. And the problem with this...
And Karen's and Ashley's. You're right.
And Karen's and Ashley's and Jennifer's. The problem with that video and why people like me and others are concerned is because if that's what they're just willing to do to their own, what the fuck are they going to do to people of color? Well, we already know the answer to that. You guys got to stop defending this.
So true. So true. I mean, the call to white men yesterday, where the fuck are you? If this bothers you as much as many of you claim, then what the fuck are you doing? Where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you?
I didn't think, I actually, to some degree, did not think that we would get this kind of response. I'm literally shocked. You know what? I'll give you that. What I did have, amazingly, there was a young lady who voted for Trump, and she spoke to her last night, and she said, I'm done. So...
Hey, bro, I'm going to pause you for just a moment. We're going to do a minute of silence for Ms. Good.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for that. Appreciate you. You were saying?
Yes. When one of his agencies unjustly kills your ass, you'll have the entire administration justifying it. The precedent you set for other people is the exact same thing that can happen to you. And if it wasn't for the terms of service on this platform, I would finish up with something else, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say, thank you very much for everything that you do, Facts. Keep spreading the word, man. I appreciate you. You guys already do all the things. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Just do all the things today, please.
I appreciate you, my friend. I'll talk to you later. Be good. Be safe. All right. Keep your head down. Take care. Let me just take a quick moment just to thank a few people. for your kindness and your contributions. Really appreciate you. Josh said, thank you for everything you do. Two things. One, he takes exactly one side step to get almost entirely out of the way of the vehicle. It's reasonable for him to be able to get out of the way. And two, would him being on his phone play in? He was recording a bystander seconds before. You're absolutely right about that, Josh. All kinds of things. To Joseph, thank you, Joseph. Joseph said, reverse the roles. Can I pew an ICE officer if I stand next to their vehicle in self-defense? It's a great question. It's a great question. Savage, thank you for everything. Your $2 a day contribution weekly. Have a good weekend, and thank you for all you do. Thank you, Savage. I appreciate you saying that. Also, over on the green side, thank you to, hang on one second. Kelly, thank you so much for the $2 train. Appreciate you. Also, Rhonda, thank you for your kindness and your contributions. It's a fair point, and somebody mentioned this earlier. I think I forgot who it was, but well, you 2A enthusiasts, right? If your entire argument has been that you have a right to keep and bear arms to push back against a tyrannical government, who determines if it's tyrannical? So if I decide that it's tyrannical, does that give me justification to push back and then use my Second Amendment right to defend myself against a tyrannical government? The problem is that you all don't think things through now, do you? You don't think things through. And I think that's what's ultimately going to happen. And that will be tested in court, won't it? Won't it? Yeah, it will. It really, really will. Sadly. Hi, Emmy. How are you?
Oh, I am in rough shape, Steve, as we all are right now. Thanks for having me up for a minute. This is actually perfect timing for my comment because it's relevant to what you just said. You know, when we're talking about with these maggots, when we're talking about like the number of undocumented immigrants that commit unalivings every year being incredibly low, right? Their excuse always is, well, one is too many. And I want to know where that same fucking energy is here when it's one of our citizens being unalived by our government for no fucking reason. If one is too many being unalived by an undocumented immigrant, that this has to happen, where is that energy, MAGA? One American citizen by our government for no reason. It's not too many for you? Come the fuck on. That's all I have to say. I have to go. I'm sorry. I
appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me
here. We love you, friend. Yeah, it's real to people. And you know, we talk about this often, right? Those of us that are empaths, right? We have to pick up the slack. You know, I certainly believe in the karmic power of the universe, right? That's where my belief set lies. I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual, but I believe in karma. I have to. I believe the more positive energy you put in the universe, the more you get back. I wouldn't mind. It'd be nice if we could get a little bit back, but it requires those of us who care about this shit. It requires those of us who look at these kind of things as just inhumane and just mocking of people laughing. There are people laughing. I've seen people putting Renee Good's picture up with clown makeup on. I've seen people celebrating, like highlighting the bullet hole in her window. Like, you know, what are we supposed to do with that? It just requires us, those of us who are empathetic. And I'm a big-ass empath. Anybody who knows me knows that. So these things are painful. It's the reaction. Listen, everybody deserves due process, right? And the person who did this allegedly should be granted due process. I believe that. Our friends on the right don't give a fuck. We still believe this. Just like I always say, I want the most hardcore MAGA to have health care. That's what being someone who's compassionate and empathetic towards the needs of others, those are the things that we stand for. This person deserves their due process. So then why were they allowed to leave the crime scene, or alleged crime scene? Because it was a crime. There's no denying that. Why were they allowed to leave the scene? So they did. So we want accountability. All we want is for them to stand and face the situation that they put themselves in. You can't run from the obvious. No one is willing to explain that picture that I shared. No one. You want it to be true. You want it to say, well, he was defending himself. Even under those conditions, I hate to have to do this, but I will again. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. How can it be any more black and white than just that? Like, it's just plain as fucking day. Like, I don't get it. Where is it? Where's your explanation?
Bro, I don't feel safe regardless, you know.
Ms. Nina, how are you? Nina, are you there?
That was his way of saying you live in a white.
Miss Nina, are you there?
Hello.
Hi
I'm
there.
sorry. I'm talking to my kids. Everybody here is stressed out because we just had and my kids were just talking to me. I don't know what you heard, but I just had my groceries delivered, and it was a black man, and I was just telling him, you know, I heard the doorbell ring, and I'm like, I hope it's not ICE. I forgot that I had my groceries order, and you can't help but talk to people because, you know, he's like, yeah, I heard what happened. He's like, don't worry about it. You live in a good neighborhood. You know, they're not gonna come over here. And I'm like, but that's not the point, because if I'm out in the streets, you know, if they were able to do this to this woman, what are they going to be able to do to me when I've been watching my community being hunt down and being unalive? Because she's not the first woman that they did this to. They unalive a father when he was picking up his kids in school in front of his kids. They drag a pregnant woman and she lost her baby. Drag her in the snow like she was an animal. So we've been feeling this for a whole year. Facts. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but
you can call me Steve.
Steve, I came here because I saw Smitty, and I came and I liked the conversation, and I just wanted to give you you know, to tell you that you're doing great, and thank you for addressing your community and asking the men in your community, what the heck are you? I just posted your live in my story, and I asked the same question, like the host said, what the F are you, white men? What are you doing? They're doing this to your women. Are you going to allow this? It was brown women first. We already know you don't care about us. But you care about the patriarchy so much that you're going to allow them to do this to your daughters and your wives? We're not going anywhere. We're going to fight. I hope you all could join the fight too that we've been fighting for the past year and technically our entire life. Because like black people, brown people have been target of this government forever. Since the initiation of the government. I got my native brothers and sisters. We got to go to the pharmacy. I was on the live of Positive Vibes because we're trying to cope with this for the past year. My 40-something-year-old friend getting himself ready to go out because he has to deal with discrimination. I got to go get my medicine and I got to build my strength to go out because I can't stay inside. I got to go do my errands. And that's what they want. They want us all to stay inside afraid until they come for us. But I'm not going out without a fight. This is for my children. My children were born here. They're not immigrants. They just happen to be brown because they're my children. We're Mayan descendant people and Incan descendant people. Our people have been in this continent forever. Just like the Northern Native Americans. And we're not looking for this unification. We understand that this is the world that we live in, and we share it with our black and white brothers and sisters. We're not trying to get rid of anybody. We're loving people. We just want peace once and for all, and equality for everybody. Why are our LGBTQ people afraid? Why are our trans people afraid? Why are we gonna live in a world of being afraid, Steve? Why? We're just gonna let it happen? We can't. We can't, because this is just going to get worse. But I just wanted to tell you thank you. I commend you, Steve. And I hope that more people listen to you. I know you got a lot of work ahead. We all had a lot of work last year. And this fool has just doubled our work, you know. And it doesn't matter, you want to stay away and disconnected, but then you know about the community that we built in the past year or 2 years. And we know that we need each other too, even here on TikTok. So we can't run away from reality, you know. But do take care of yourself, you know, take your mental health breaks, please, because we need each other. And we need those people that are willing not to be coward and speak up.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Hug your kids. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Likewise.
See you later. No notes. White men. They're taking our women indiscriminately. What are you going to do about it? Why are you not front and center in all of this shit? It's great that you're filming things, right? It's great that you're documenting everything. It's wonderful. And they're going to get it done. It's just not going to get it done. AC, I saw you. I don't know if you wanted to come back up, but it's just the same old shit that it always is. It's the same old shit. Same old shit. What are we going to do? Tomorrow's too late. You know the old adage, when was the best time to plant a tree? Best time to plant a tree was yesterday. That was the best time. Unreal.
Hey, Steve.
What's up, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm very much of a somber mood of what's been going on the past few days. I got a question. I don't know, maybe your mods can do it or not, but how about we can put a server for protesting at different states? I know there's websites for it. Can you post it on the Discord of like what protests and what states are doing?
Yeah, we have. That's a good idea. We will update that. We've done that in the past. Like I have links to Indivisible that are in my link tree. Yeah, we can. We'll work on that.
I think that's going to be a very important resource where a lot of people can come to, because I think now, because what's happened the other day, I think people are going to come together and try to protest and get.
Ryan, we've got that. We've got a protest. There's actually a protest channel within our Discord.
Under it? Okay, I didn't see it. Okay. So.
Yeah, you might have to. It's within the Do Something. So we have. So the part of the Do Something channel in our Discord, we have calls to action and we have protests. You might just have to sign up for it or make sure that you have access to it. But please.
I'll contact Sam or somebody to help me with it.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
It's a good call out though. But thanks for being here today, bro. I
appreciate it. Of course. All right, love you guys. Thank you.
You too, man. See you later. Yeah, again, it's another reason I push the Discord a lot, guys, because there is so much information in there. And shout out to Sam and our entire mod team for managing it, because there's a lot of activity in there, including Are You Okay? Including information regarding your pets, including information about the Discord link isn't working. I've reset it every time. Listen, if the Discord link does not work, make sure you have Discord installed on your device. Copy the link, put it in a browser, open it. That will bring you there. If for some reason it still doesn't work, you can tag one of our mods and they will help you. Okay? So thank you. Thank you for that. All right. We're going to noon today, friends, so keep tapping and see if we can get to 500K. I'd appreciate that. Hey, friend, how are you?
I'm doing okay. So I contemplated about coming up, and then I'm in the middle of getting to work. But what I will say is, as a white man in a region of the country that has grown up around hunting, fishing, the outdoors, I'm a person that has a CPL, concealed pew pews license in the state of Washington. I have taken my hunter's ed. I've taken firearm safety courses. It's time for people like me who have a background in firearm safety and have been carrying for decades to step the fuck up. we, the responsible gun owners, need to start protecting our communities. Portland is probably 8-ish hours away from me right now, and I'm not headed that way or anything like that. I am protecting my own community, and it is time that we all start to do that. If you are an honest firearm owner, you protect your community. You make sure that you are carrying. You make sure that it is you're carrying safely. You are not over emotional if you are carrying. That is my big thing. Is if you are wound up, put it back in the safe for now. But it is a smart decision to take it with you everywhere you go, and make sure that you are only using it if you see ice.
Yeah, AC, I want to pause you. I want to pause you just for a second. Okay, I want to pause you just for a second. I understand what you're saying, right? I understand. We all have a right to protect ourselves. I don't want to be. I know what you mean. I don't want your opinions are yours and yours alone. I don't believe that you're necessarily calling for violence. I just want to make sure that people are
I'm
aware
calling for
that
protection.
we do. Yeah, so let's just be careful how we say things, because I don't want anybody to feel like they should just Rambo their asses into the streets, because that's not gonna help any of us. If you are,
and that's not what I said though. That's that, Steve. I hope you understand. I know. Right.
I know that. I just hang on a second, bro. I understand that, but I don't want people to interpret what you're saying the wrong way. Okay.
Okay. So let me make it more clear. If you are not a firearm owner that has had the training, then don't do anything. You keep that fucker in the safe. If you are an unsafe person, don't bring it with you. If you know what you are doing, if you have had the training, protect yourself and protect your community. Steve, that's all I'm going to say. Love you, buddy.
Appreciate you, friend. Thanks a lot. Be safe out there. We just have to be careful, right? Obviously, the last thing I want to do is put someone in harm's way based on something that they heard me say. Unless you are a white man in America, then I am asking you to put yourself in harm's way. It doesn't necessarily mean with your Glock. It doesn't necessarily mean with you being armed. It just means you being out there. It just means you being front and center between you and the person who would likely be targeted and the threat. I don't advocate. I am not an advocator. And AC, don't take this the wrong way. I am not an advocator for violence, and I'm not saying you were calling for that. What I'm saying is, this may be the time for people in our country to understand that there are threats everywhere. Everywhere. Like I said before, the brown and black community don't need me to tell them that. They don't need a privileged white man in America to tell them that they've been under threat ever since there was a country. We are not, no one is safe. No one is safe. I'm waiting to get knocks on the door, quite frankly, for things that I say in this space. Bring it on. I don't give a fuck. Bring it on. I don't care. But I am just so tired. I think Jen said this earlier. We have become apathetic as a nation, expecting somebody else to do something for us. Like we're pissed off and we're angry if we can't find the remote, or if we might have to wait in line a little long, or if the order that we placed may be delivered 2 days after we expected it. Apathy is what got us here. And I'll leave it right there.
Hi everyone.
How are you?
How are you? I hope I'm not derailing away from the subject. I know I have my thoughts regarding it, especially as someone from the outside of America. I'm Sudanese. But I wrote the prompt and I said it's like Free Speech Friday. What's on your mind? And I saw like the views are amazing today. I hope they increase even more because I heard good things about you. Just wanted to share my message about Sudan, and just want to remind all of our allies in the West right now that the Sudanese file is constantly evolving, and today and right now the ball is in your guys' hand to help us boycott the UAE and designate the RSF as a T group, basically. And another message that can be debatable, I feel like, it's how what's happening in the US today can also be used as a warning to say that this is a problem that is way bigger than Trump, and it's a good opportunity for people to use it as a gateway to talk about how US and this whole system is operating in general. Because during time like this, it's a good opportunity, unfortunately, for people to unite and have all of these uncomfortable conversation to address things that were harder to address without having a reason, an obvious reason in the eyes of the public conscious. And I really, really, really hope to hear more discussion regarding this. And while you're doing this, remember Sudan, remember my country, and help us boycott the UAE and designate the the RSF as a T group, because lately a lot of US officials, especially after the updates in Yemen and Saudi Arabia coming to the US, they were being more vocal regarding RSF, and slowly we can finally expose the UAE involvement regarding them funding the RSF. Slowly there's like a consent, like, you know how the media work, basically they work by levels to basically prepare people to give them consent to a type of propaganda and to help them get ready to the type of rhetoric that they want to push. They're testing the water regarding everything they just say regarding the RSF and Sudan. They did the same thing regarding Venezuela. We've seen, like, for months and months and months and months, Trump is slowly trying to push consent in the eyes of the public conscious. We see them doing this regarding Somalia, and they use it as a gateway to push the recognition of Somaliland by Israel. This is how media work in today's age, and I really hope we can see it as an opportunity to do some good for my country, Sudan, and to also use it as an opportunity to discuss the whole system and how Venezuela didn't happen in a vacuum. But that's all I wanted to say, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. Be safe out there. This is global. We know that. We know about the authoritarian takeover. We know about how the world is now being, well, for a while now, being run by a select small group of people who are trillionaires. And I understand the plight of the Sudanese and humanitarian crises all across the world, which is part of why empaths hurt as much as we do, because, you know, and this goes to apathy, because we see these kinds of things, oppression in other parts of the world, and we'll like pay attention to it, or we'll read a story, or we'll donate to a GoFundMe, or we'll comment on a video post because of the atrocities that are happening across the world. You know, then you'll go about your business, and then you'll go to the store, and then you'll sit in your room on your comfortable couch, and you'll watch all your cable channels. Well, now it's here. So now it's here. So now, white men, what the fuck are you going to do? What the fuck are you going to do? The reason I target white men is because I am one, and because I know that what is holding our country back is white men. It's not my opinion. It's the facts. It is the largest voting bloc that continues to vote for conservatives, that continues to vote Republican. Largest perpetrators of violent crime per capita, largest perpetrators of crimes against women, largest perpetrators of crimes against children. All but one in our country, the President of the United States, all but one has been a white man. That's why I want the fucking matriarchy, for one. It's not a coincidence that we're in this situation, because we can compare it to so many other parts of the world. And we've caused this damage. We, the United States, in most cases, and white men. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Kristen, are you there? Hi, Kristen. Kristen, did you want to say something? I guess not. It's the root of the whole fucking problem. I mean, just look at the data. Spoiled. You're right, Annabelle. Spoiled's a great way to put it. I think entitled but spoiled works. Stacy, are you there? I guess not. I talk about this in terms of entitlement, right? And privilege. If it rubs you the wrong way, if you as white men, if you get bothered by it, if you get offended by it, then guess what? You're part of the fucking problem. How about for once in your fucking life, maybe just listen. It's okay, Stacy. I always encourage you to go to spaces that are either hosted or dominated by black men, by black women, by women in general, by marginalized communities, and just sit there and fucking listen. Listen to try to learn something. Listen to what those communities have been saying for centuries about oppression, about violation of rights, about anti-human reactions to things. Just sit and fucking listen. And then open your eyes and be like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. White men, they took one of your women from the streets of Minneapolis 2 days ago. Cold-blooded fucking murder. Cold-blooded. There is no other way to describe it other than that. So what the fuck are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Yes, Santana, Hector, Erica, Mermaid, Santana, Zeus, Smitty, incredible creators. I'm honored that they call me a friend. Incredible creators. Just go and fucking listen. Danny, just go and listen. Johnny, Chris, Polly, just go and fucking listen. Understand what their communities have been through. Understand what they have been telling us, white people, for fucking years. Itchy, Liv, Felice, just go and fucking listen and try to understand what it's been like for them every single day of their lives. Listen when somebody describes what it's like to have the talk. White people think about the talk, about the uncomfortable conversation that you might have with your parents around sex. No, the talk is about how you stay alive. Where you put your hands on the steering wheel when you're pulled over. What you're supposed to say and when you're supposed to say it. Get out of your fucking privilege. Get out of your fucking selfishness. Hi, Barbie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
So, in having MAGA explain things that they see and explain it in a totally different way than what reality is, whether it's this situation or any other one, like specifically for this one, my question for them, well, I kind of have two, but let's say their explanation is right. Let's say this woman is a criminal and she's crazy and she was, going to use her vehicle to do harm. Let's say they're right for just a second. I'm not agreeing with them, but to ask them, okay, let's say you're
Hypothetically,
right.
I gotcha. Yep.
Let's say you're right. So she was about to do harm. Well, If she was then going to be doing the right thing as you would do and comply with the request by the ICE agent to leave, how would it look different? How would the photo look different? Where would her tires be aimed? Would she move? Would she not move? Would she get out of the car? How would it look different if she was doing the right thing? What if you were already hearing it as from Trump or from somebody you respect or whatever, that this was somebody on your team, that this is somebody who was doing the right thing? So now explain it that way. How would it look different if she's doing the right thing than what it looks like? What was she supposed to do? Back up so she didn't go toward the officer in front of the car? Would she have turned the tires to the left, to the back, to the right? What would look different in the photo if she's doing the right thing? Re-explain it. And kind of another angle to look at it too. Okay, let's say that this was you or your mother in the car with all the beliefs you hold and who you are, and you are the same person and you are of sound mind. And this is the photo of you in the car, and you are in court, and you're supposed to tell what you're doing, where you're turning the wheel, when you're backing up, when you're slowing down, when you're waving people. How would you describe it if it was you? What is happening in this photo? To try to put themselves in it, or to try to give the morality that they hold to the person in the seat. What would it look like differently if they were wrong right now? The person's doing right, or it's you and they're doing right. How would you explain what the photo looks like? If she's doing the right thing, she's complying to get out of the way of traffic, what would the car be doing different than she did it?
Exactly. And considering she waved cars through prior to that incident happening.
Yeah, I mean, and I think
it's a really good point.
Thank you. And I think, like, it's not obviously just this incident. It's every way that MAGA has a view on anything we show them. How would it look different if this person was on your side or was right or was you? How would it look different? Tell me what your eyes are seeing if it was true, if it was reality, if it was what we're seeing. What are we seeing? What you know, to put themselves in that photo or anything that they're showing to us as one way, how would it look different if it was the way they wanted it to go?
A great way to describe that would be like, what do you see that we don't, or what do we see that you don't? Right?
Yeah. And I mean, what was she supposed to do? She was trapped. She was surrounded. If there's an ICE agent that's in front of the vehicle, how does she get out of the way? That doesn't mean she should charge them, or she did charge them. How is she supposed to get out of the way to comply with the order by one ICE agent if the pathway is obstructed by another ICE agent on a different page? And what if you're scared? What if you can't think either? It's too much going on. Why was the officer even charging toward the vehicle to pull her out? To do what? How does the car move for her to comply if she's pulled out of the vehicle? Was she supposed to get on the ground? Was she supposed to have the ICE agent get in the driver's seat and then she gets on the passenger side to move the car? What was she supposed to do different?
Exactly. She's supposed to just masked thugs approaching a woman in her car, telling her to just get out of the car. We've seen the videos of people being dragged out of their cars and beaten. Like, what is she? You're exactly right. What was she supposed to do?
And I'm sure that there's every which way that they would describe it differently. Like, well, she shouldn't have been there in the first place, or she should have been legal in the first place. No. This photo, though. What was she supposed? Where was she? If you gave her instructions, where was she supposed to maneuver her steering wheel?
Correct.
Yeah.
Such a great take, Barbie. I really appreciate you jumping in today. Thank you so much for saying that. You're absolutely right. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You got it. Have a good day. Be safe out there.
You too.
It's a great point. Like, what does compliance look like? What was she supposed to do? What was she supposed to do? You know, again, logic doesn't always apply to our friends on the right. You're approached in a street. Two men get out of their vehicle. Their vehicle was not blocked because she had just waved other vehicles through. Plenty of room for them to go around her. They chose to stop. They chose to get out of their vehicle. They chose to approach her vehicle. A woman in America in the year 2026 now, not that it has ever mattered, is approached by two men who are masked, who are thugs, who are screaming at her. What is she supposed to do? If the officer, the murderer, if the officer was afraid for his safety, what do you think she was feeling? She's supposed to just be calm? No, nothing to see here? But the officer is the one that was under threat? What was she supposed to do? Literally, what was she supposed to do? Now we've got additional reporting from her ex-husband confirming that he's just dropping off our son at school. Dropping off her son at school. That's why she was in the neighborhood. She lived nearby. What justification do the ICE officers have to be there? The answer is none. They don't have any. They have no justification at all to be there. Dropped off her son at school. 6 years old. What? Honestly. What was she supposed to do? How do you comply in a situation like that? Good morning. Hey, Manga. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Oh, wow. I've never done this before. My name's Haley, so I'll just go ahead and say that. But the reason I requested up was when Barbie was talking about we have empathy. We can put ourselves in the situation or our loved one and see that. But from what I've seen, I've been on the Book of Face, and I try not to go there with all the comments and everything I see. But it's about how much power they give to law enforcement. It doesn't matter what person was there. They have already given so much consent and power to law enforcement that it's like, well, it's unfortunate, loss of life, but you know, he was afraid for his life or whatever excuse they want to put. They just have given so much power to people of law enforcement, and they just think it's okay for them to just murder whoever they want if they, you know, feel threatened. I don't know. I think that's about my piece on it.
You're right. I mean, we've prioritized this thug approach to policing over than human rights and constitutional rights and civil rights. You're right.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Right. That was just kind of what I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. You did great. Thank you, Haley, for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Thanks for saying that. Again, I'm just going back to what Barbie had said, and she's absolutely right. I mean, just for a moment, just for a moment. Again, just for a moment. And again, most of you who are in here every single day are empathetic, and this won't be lost on you. But just for a moment, all right? We know of the tension. We know of the assaults on marginalized communities in our country. We know we've got evidence of ICE mistreating pregnant women in custody. We know we've got reporting of ICE mistreating children in custody. We know we've got reporting of 35 detainees this year, the most ever to die in ICE custody. We know that ICE was deployed to the streets of Minneapolis. As the reporting goes, dropped off her kid at school, attempting to leave the area, waving a vehicle through. Masked thugs get out of their car, unmarked, get out of their car, walk up to her screaming at her, telling her, get the fuck out of your car, screaming at her. Where's the photograph? This one, right? Ms. Good is driving her vehicle. She's approached by this masked thug, shouting out commands, telling her to get out of her car. Why does she have to do that? Why does she have to comply in this case? She didn't do anything wrong. What happened to reasonable articulable suspicion, RAS? How about the violation of her constitutional rights? She wasn't an agitator. What was she supposed to do? What is she supposed to do in that situation? So instead, what ends up happening is this guy murders her in cold blood. He was the one that was scared. He's the one that felt his life was in danger. What about her? What about her? Was she not? Does she not have the right to be scared? Does she not have the right to be concerned for her own safety? Do we not have the ability to defend ourselves? So for you 2A enthusiasts, if she was approached by somebody who was a threat, does she not have the right to unload? See, this is the problem with people who believe that shit. People who believe that the way to solve problems is just to indiscriminately kill people. But none of you give a shit about that. He was unjustified in cold-blooded murder. This woman should have been home planning the weekend with her kid. Period. And we've allowed it to happen. Back to what I was saying before. System built by people who look like me, to protect people who look like me, to support people who look like me. So, white woman, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Robin Nicole Good, 37 years old. Mother of a 6-year-old and a 12 and a 14-year-old. Gunned down in cold blood by thugs, by armed thugs on the streets of American City. A YT woman. Renee, what did I say? Did I miss up? Renee Nicole Good. Where are you, white men? Where the fuck are you? Have you ever offered to escort somebody from their car in a parking lot, for example? Ever done that? Ever offered just to be like, hey, if you need some help, I'm here? Ever offered somebody your phone number just in case? No, I get it. That might be seen as a threat for some women. You ever thought about why they might see that as a threat? You ever thought about that for just a second? Just a second? I'll never, ever, ever. Listen, I am not a safe space. I don't get to make that claim. I don't get to make that claim because I am part of the problem that it's all men until it's no men. I accept that. I understand it. I get it. But what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Women in our country are under threat every fucking day. Every fucking day. And then ask black women. Ask members of the BIPOC community in general. Ask any marginalized group of people. They're under threat every fucking day. It's just been the way of life. It's just been the way of life. But have you ever offered anything as simple as, it's dark. I mean, if you'd like, or you know what? Don't even say a thing. Just be aware. If you see a woman in a parking lot late at night walking by themselves, just be aware. Just be aware. Don't be fucking stalkery. Just be fucking aware. If you're in an airport, have you ever asked if you could sit down next to a woman? Have you ever done things like that? These are little things. Have you ever bothered to even offer assistance or help? Silence is complicity, as far as I'm concerned these days. Fuck ICE, absolutely. Yeah, don't be stalkery. Don't misinterpret what I said. I think you know what I'm trying to say. What are you doing, gentlemen? What are you doing? How do you expect things to be different if you are literally in the driver's seat? You have the ability to drive the car off the cliff or perhaps take it to greener pastures. It's really up to you. It's up to us. I can't fix it. Women shouldn't fix it. They don't have to fix it. Black people, brown people, immigrants, marginalized people, they don't have to fix it. They didn't break it. They're subjected to it. They're oppressed by it. They're being harmed because of it. They're being murdered because of it. A system built by people who look like me to benefit people to look like me, to protect people who look like me. Plain and simple. White Christian nationalists and those in support of this bullshit will surround this guy. They will protect him. They will protect him. Goat Boat, how are you today? Goat Bot.
It's Goatbot, but I'm doing. How you doing, Steve?
I'm all right. What's on your mind?
I just like you keep asking what us white men can do, and I do everything I can, but I'm currently living in red state hell, and mostly I'm just curious what you think on how long it's going to be until they stop just sending them into blue counties and start spreading out to places where I can actually put myself on the front lines to protect people.
I don't know. It's a fair question. You know, I think the goal is these are things they want. Like they want to justify the use of the Insurrection Act. They want to justify the use of martial law. So I think it's coming everywhere. I've got strong opinions on the Insurrection Act. I don't think the Trump administration has the military like they think they do. So I don't worry about that as much. But I'm not sure how far away you live from a community that's under threat, but maybe that's your first step. Maybe get in your car and drive.
Well, I'm in Alabama, so we don't have a whole lot of threatened area down here.
Yeah. Well, so then maybe it's so that in true do something spirit, maybe it's not about ICE necessarily. Maybe it's just about going and volunteering at a women's health center, or going volunteering at a homeless shelter, or going and reading books for kids after school. This is what do something to me. That's what do something means, right? If you are in a position where you can stand between yourself, put yourself between harm and the person who would be subjected to it, then I encourage that. But there are other things that we can all do to hopefully make our entire communities better around us. Give blood. That's a great cause. I do that all the time. Donate blood. Things like that. Those are little things. Little things.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I won't keep you long. Does that make sense? Definitely. It does.
Yeah. So there's no such thing as a bad idea under the do something umbrella. There is no such thing. You can call Congress. There's a script that I wrote. It's in the Discord. You can call Congress and tell them that you want investigation into this shit. It doesn't, yard work for the disabled, groceries for someone. When you leave the house every morning, if you make your lunch, make an extra sandwich and give it to somebody who might be houseless. Little things. Okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Steve. You have a good day.
You got it. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. The last thing that I don't want to happen is people feel immobilized, right? I want people to understand that there's always something that we can do. I, again, am privileged to have this space. I accept that. And I want to use it to try to help others say there's always something that we can do. Always something. We will figure it out. We just got to be focused. We've got to be committed, right? We've got to be brave. It's going to take guts in many cases, but it's necessary. Hi, Heather.
Hey, talking about the video, I was watching it again, and I could literally hear her saying to the truck, "Go around," as she was waving them around.
Yeah,
I heard her say it in the video. I don't know what video it was. It's the one that's been going around pretty much on TikTok. And that truck chose to stop.
Correct.
And chose to viciously approach her. And like I said yesterday, I would have done the same thing she did.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to point out is I read an article and I can't remember where I read it, but they have really lowered the requirements for these ICE officers to the point where they're now hiring people who can't even read.
Well, I don't think that's true, Heather, because they would. I don't. Let's be very careful about that. I don't think that's true. Let's think about that logically, right? Let's think about that logically.
Or they can
That could be
barely
potentially
read, I should say.
Once again, I don't. We can't measure that, so let's not even talk about it. Okay, let's just move on from that part of the conversation.
Okay.
We do know that they have changed some of the regulations regarding age. We do know that it used to be a very high standard for bachelor's degree. It looks like a lot of that has changed. So we know that they have changed the qualification measurements. Okay.
Yeah, they've changed it from 16 weeks to 6 weeks of training.
Yeah, and even that's not enough because JD Vance told us earlier that many of them are not even completing their training yet. So there you go.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
No
Have a
problem.
good weekend. Be safe out there. Okay. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, I mean, somebody just mentioned this in the chat. Maybe we should do this exercise. Everybody go to the ICE website, fill out an application. Let's find out for ourselves. It's a good call. I haven't done that in a while. I think I will. It's a good call. Apply, right? Apply. See what happens. See if you get an interview, right? We need people on the inside, as they say. Hi, Sheena. How are you?
Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, I kind of just joined after the other guy, who you kind of gave some ideas of what he can do to kind of make a difference, I guess. I've watched you several times. I love your passion and knowledge and just the enthusiasm and empathy you have for the country and for people, and you're amazing. And I'm actually an American who lives in France. So I just feel like in constant anxiety because I'm on the outside, looking in and it's just like a horror film day after day. It just, it's like not even believable. Some of the things that's happening. And, for the first time in my life, I'm ashamed to say that I'm American, and I'm just horrified. So I don't know. I feel like my hands are so tied. I have so much family back home. I've lived here for 14 years now. I do what I can. I always vote. I always mail my vote or email now. And every election, my state is Colorado, and I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's. I feel.
Do you
I
have
feel
any
that, Sheena.
suggestions?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think so. I believe in activism, right? And I believe that activism is a muscle, and therefore it needs to be exercised. Now, I understand that you may not be here, that you're living abroad, but that doesn't mean that you can't do something to make the community and your environment around you better, whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like. There may only be so much that you can do here, but I'm sure you could find something to do in your community. You can certainly call representatives from your state. I think you said Colorado. You could certainly contact your senators in the Discord. Like I said, there's a script that I wrote for you guys. Make it easy. It's a call script. Just dial it up and read it. That's something that you can do. You can mention to them that you live abroad and that you're embarrassed. You could literally just maybe there's an expat group that you could form in France that might help.
Oh,
Other people
absolutely.
feeling this.
That's a
Other people
great
feeling
idea.
the same way. Yeah, other people feeling the same way that you do. There's always something that we can all do. Always.
Yeah. I've been in contact with the embassy, a few times. They've been helpful for other things. Because my son is actually, I have a 13-year-old son who was born in France, and of course he has 2 passports. He has the double nationality, and I'm kind of concerned about where that's going to go in the future. Hopefully he'll still have his rights, but I'm really the most concerned right now about my family. My dad is, he's Hispanic, and he's a very dark skin, and out of 6 kids, 3 dark ones, 3 white ones, like my mom. So, and my dad has a Colombian wife and stepdaughter, and he was getting ready to retire, and he's spending most of his money now on immigration lawyers, just hoping and praying that nothing happens to her and her daughter. It's scary. It's just,
skin color doesn't matter. This skin color doesn't matter in this conversation.
Yeah,
Frida. This is
right.
about human rights. So
Yeah.
But thanks for jumping in today. I would say thank you for being here. Be sure that you're doing something, whatever it might be. Okay. Thanks for
Thank you
thanks
so
for jumping
much.
in today. You got it.
Thanks
I appreciate
for
you.
your input.
Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
You too. So I just want to, I think I just got another little message here from, what are we talking about here? This is again another statement from Stacey Patton, and I'll end with this. I'm sorry if I didn't get you guys today, but white women should be paying very close attention to who is defending the killing of Renee Nicole Good and how confidently and loudly they are doing it. The loudest, most aggressive justifications for her death are coming from white men. Your husbands and your boyfriends, your brothers, your fathers, your uncles, your sons, males that justify abortion. They are defending the right of the state to unalive a woman if she is perceived as non-compliant. When white men cheer or excuse the killing of a white mother, they are showing you exactly where you stand when power feels challenged. You are not protected. You are conditional. You are safe only as long as you submit, stay quiet, stay deferential, and never obstruct authority. The moment you don't, when you protest, block, question, hesitate, or simply exist in the wrong place, you become expendable, just like the rest of us. We've been trying to tell y'all this for centuries. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I appreciate you all. It's been a rough week. Really, really, really been a rough week. But again, it is my hope every single day. The reason I do this is if one person can tell me, hey, I had never volunteered before, or I never called my congressperson before, or I never went to a rally before, or I never volunteered in my community, or I never bothered making an extra sandwich and dropping it off at a neighborhood, or just how I see somebody in need and I've never done that before. That's what has to happen, friends. That's what has to happen. Who are we going to raid, guys? I know RTP's live. Let's go raid Jay. Tell him we said hello. He's doing the work as well. Everybody head on over to raid RTP. There is no Facts After Dark tonight. I'm going to a rally in support of Renee Good later on this afternoon. I will probably try to do a live from there just so we can make sure that we never forget her name, Renee Nicole Good. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, mods. It's been a rough week on all of us. I love you all very, very much. Friends, do something means whatever you want it to mean to you. Whatever you want it to mean to you. The entire point is that we do something, whatever it is. More details to come on your boy going out on the road in support of this kind of shit. We got a big fight.